Good.
Okay, hold
Good.
on.
Are we on?
No,
Not yet.
not yet. Shit. What the hell is it? What the
Okay, there we
hell
go.
is-
All right, we on. All right. Hi guys, I'm so sorry. I messed up. Well, you guys know I took that entire week off. So I'm a little rusty on the applications, but we're live now. Only person we're waiting on is Archer, but we'll go ahead and get started with the introductions. Hold on, let me see if he sent me a message. No. So hopefully he should come while we doing our introduction. So first of all, let me tell everybody what this is. This is the big kids table, the Treehouse debates. I host this every third Sunday at 8:00. By the way, guys, if you see me make a mistake in reference to the time with the copy and paste, our new times are going to be at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's only 3 hours. I would not go over 3 hours. So starting at 8:00 and 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that what is that, 5 p.m. Pacific? Is that what that is? So we're gonna do it. Yeah, that's from now on, every third Sunday. Okay, all right. So let's get started with our Cats are Gay, our token gay man here. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell anybody where they can find you.
Hello, everyone. I am R. Cat's Gay. I am a very occasional YouTuber and somewhat of a Twitter personality with an obscure but loyal following. I am a token gay California conservative who cannot really stand where I live anymore, so I complain about it on the internet. And I do a lovely podcast with my best friend Jupiter called Caggett.
All right. Next but not least, I can't say because you're further on the left than Trip aren't you, Grimace? Grimace?
No
Yes.
sound.
Oh, sorry. It probably depends on what we're talking about. Like, I think Trip doesn't hate Trump as much as I do. I think that's like the big.
Yeah, you got
deciding factor there.
TDS like a motherfucker, I swear.
Who's Trump? That's band doesn't matter anymore.
But they still gonna make it relevant. I'm gonna tell you something. I respect the hell out of Grimace because a lot of people, and I would have to say 90% of the people on the political left are really scared to come into uncharted waters on YouTube, because they don't, they want to be protected by the TOS on Twitch. And Grimace, it doesn't matter how much they gang up on him, how much they come after him, saying he stand his ground. That takes some backbone. So with that, I'm so glad to have you come back after your vacation. Did you enjoy your vacation? Did you enjoy your skiing last week?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty cool. The border collies didn't like it too much, but I had a good time. I haven't been out in a long time. That's pretty good.
Wait, the border collies?
Yeah, well, I should say I have a single border collie and I have a corgi. Excuse me. They're both sheep herding dogs, but she didn't like the dynamite going off in the mountains for avalanche control. Yeah. Border collies are the best dogs, by the way, but you need time and energy to look after them. Tree, some members of your community have stopped by on my smaller stream Saturday morning, and they've contributed a lot. Aaron has popped into my Discord and when we were having conversation on transition.
Really?
Helpful. Yeah.
I have a good community. They're really good people. I love them. So, okay, well, tell them where they want to see you're on your YouTube. No, excuse me, Twitch. And have they been supporting you on Twitter?
Yeah, I've been getting a little bit of support on Twitter. Yeah. I've definitely got some support from them, and you can follow me on twitter.com/outgrimace, or I'm starting to stream more. I took a long break and everybody left, but I'm starting to stream again on twitch.tv/outgrimace.
I totally get it. I left for a week because I have so much in real life stuff to do. And I'm like, man, I got to come back because that's how your channels will die. Okay, Felix, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh boy. Hi, I'm Felix. if there wasn't this lovely thing called online schooling that takes up literally 23 of my free 24 hours in a day, I'd be more active on my Instagram at Phalix1. But right now, I'm trying to get my associates by the end of the year, so that kind of takes priority. And thank you for having me, first of all. And I'll be honest, I'm just ready for the bloodbath to begin.
Okay.
I got an extra glass of water for this.
All right, and next we have Trip. Trip, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My man.
Everybody, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Good.
Yes.
I was having mic issues earlier. It might be. Yeah. So my name's Trip. I'm like a center left liberal, but I'm not woke. Follow me on everything at Trip Sucks or Trip Sucks Bro on a few things.
Oh no, guys! I think Archer's not coming till 9 because he's not here yet. I think he didn't see my correction
I
on.
just texted him.
Oh, you did? Okay. What did he say?
Yeah, but he didn't pick up. He didn't say anything. He didn't. I tried calling him a couple times too, but
Okay. All right.
you know him.
Well, we may it. I really want him here, so we may do the border. We may do the
Yes,
whole
that's a
bond
good
thing
idea.
first.
I want to hear his. Yes.
Yeah, so
wanna hear him in
he
the
has
discussion,
to
definitely.
be here for that. So we'll just do we'll do the second topic first. Okay, Rafiq, our brother, you know what I'm saying, who's in the photo development room. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Greetings, world. I am Rafiq Jennings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at rjennings333. Tree, it's a pleasure to be here. I am in the greatest first world shithole in the world, New York City.
But you'll be
Until
leaving soon.
March 31st.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. All right. Next we have our what would I call you? Because I can't say our token Jew because we have two Jewish brothers here. So I had to say
2.5. 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Your match set.
Doing that half. Doing that half.
There you go.
It's a match set.
Probably
You can call me BJ.
BJ is the most thirst after person on our panel. So go ahead and
According to the
introduce
comments, yeah.
yeah.
Big Bad Bears. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube. I'm also a frequent guest on this show. Probably the most respected guest on the show, according to the comments. That's not me saying. That's just what I see in the comments. I'm most likely definitely on the show. I'm conservative, right wing, Republican, depending on the direction the party's going. And yeah, check me out on those channels.
All right. And last but not least, my boo-boo, Jupiter.
How are you?
Let's see how many times I'm gonna
So,
fuss at him today. Like, Jupiter, let me talk.
So my name's Archer. I'm resident conservative on the panel. I believe in conserving nothing, including I believe in open borders. I believe in basically the tyranny of.
Stop it. He's
All right,
not
all
here
right,
to
all
defend
right.
himself.
That's right. That was actually a bitch move. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll tell him that to his face when he gets here. I'm Jupiter. Hi. How are you guys? I am Jupiter at Jupiter _ on Twitter. Whenever I find my way back to that hellscape, I do a podcast with my heterosexual life mate who happens to be a homosexual. His name is _Gay ? And glad to be here.
All right.
Can't wait for Archer to get here.
Yeah. I think he's gonna come in about 9 because he probably is thinking about the old time and everything like that. But it's okay.
I'm gonna come when he comes.
We'll go ahead and talk about the second topic first. So that one is about immigration. And so right now there's a crisis at the border, which I find funny that the secretary what's the woman name? We're gonna circle back to that. What's her name again?
The press secretary.
Yeah.
Jem Psaki.
Yeah,
Wait,
Saki.
is that orange woman?
The
Orange woman?
The orange lady.
The orange lady, yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, she slipped up and admitted that it was a crisis, and then when she caught herself, she was like,
Challenge.
yeah,
Cheeky slip up.
yeah,
She circled back on herself.
she circled back and made a correction. There is a crisis at the border right now. The caging of the children, the caging. Children in cages have now been normalized because it's under Biden, and it's been the highest level ever. You know, it's not like Obama, which is started underneath Obama, didn't have these numbers. Of course, Trump didn't have these numbers, but but Biden has well over 4,000 caged children in these facilities. Now, nobody's making a big stink about it because it's Biden, and this is a huge crisis. So I want us to talk about, we're going to do 2 minutes introduction, and then we're going to do the free form. But I want us to talk about who's really responsible, because say what you want about Trump. By the way, not a Trumpster, but as soon as he won, we got video footage of immigrants wearing Biden shirts that says, Biden, please let us in. Now you got a huge influx of immigrants coming through. Mexico don't care no more, because when Trump was in office, Mexico agreed to have them stay, like if they applied for, if they wanted to get by, I'm sorry guys, I'm losing my words today. If they wanted to bypass the immigration process, there's a certain criteria that they have to make, and that they have to pass, that they have to meet, and they have to have their court date. And they are allowed, sometimes you'll do the catch and release in America, but now Trump has, well, back then, by the way, Biden's 73rd, one of his 73rd executive orders, the dictative fascists, decided to get rid of that. And so before Biden got into office, they were allowed to stay in Mexico until they got their court date. That's not the case anymore. And now we're having a huge crisis, which is overwhelming Texas, who just came from a huge snowstorm that they weren't prepared for. Who's responsible for this? You know, is it Trump? Is it Biden? Is it Obama? Is it who? Who's
the Jews?
This is not an alt-right panel. We're never going to blame the Jews, okay? So we're going to
Not
start.
even a little?
No. If we're going to blame Jews, we got to put them with blaming white people in there together. If we're going to do that, so. All right. So let's start with the 2 minute. I'm going to time you guys. 2 minute introduction, and then after that we'll do the free form. So let's start with our Cats again. Go ahead, Cats. Do you need 2 minute introduction?
Yeah. So the immigration crisis. Who do you blame? Who don't you blame? Any business which has ever employed illegal immigrants, they're partially to blame. Any state which has sanctuary cities, or extremely accommodating laws to help illegal immigrants, they're partially to blame, if not majorly to blame. Republicans that didn't take strong stances against Democrats when they wanted to make the borders porous, they're to blame. So in a way, we're all kind of to blame. Like there are some people that have taken very strong steps to try to curb illegal immigration, and anyone who's ever capitulated to the outrage media or weird interest groups that say that it's somehow racist to not want people who don't belong in our country to be here and to use our resources that are supposed to be for us, they're to blame. So maybe that's buck passing, but I guess if I had to blame anyone, it would be the blue states that welcome illegal immigrants and the businesses that employ them in gross numbers. Those are the people that are most to blame for this crisis.
All right. Okay. Very good. All right. Next, we got Grimace. Grimace, go ahead. It's your 2 minutes.
Oh, sure. As far as what's going on the border, it's like, how can I say this? Well, I reject this notion that like immigration is like bad in and of itself. We can talk about that later. But the person we can blame for what's going on the border is probably Guatemala and the vicious people who live around that area in South America, just south of, in Central America, just south of Mexico. there's a huge influx right now, and because of our infrastructure and the administration just starting out, we don't have the logistics in place to handle this gigantic surge as it is right now. Like we have to go through COVID restrictions. A lot of these people are fleeing from places that don't have good COVID policies in place as well, that we have to be extra careful when we're letting people across the border. And it's never been the policy, as is sometimes framed, that like Democrats or liberals want to just open the border so everyone just like walk by it, like walk right on in, and not be and not face any repercussions. Like we want to monitor people that we let in. Most liberals want more people in the country contributing their labor and achieving the American dream. Yeah.
All right, and just for clarification, I don't think anybody is supporting against immigration. I do believe we are all against illegal.
Thank you.
Illegal
God,
immigration.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Felix, your turn.
Well, immigration has been a problem for many administrations, so putting it on one president is kind of a difficult thing to pull, but we can blame it on the rich and powerful who want cheap labor and cheap nannies, because as long as they're like, hey, you can come here for a cheap job, you got to follow the American dream. As long as we have people like that, we'll have a problem at the border. And no matter what Biden or Trump or Obama or Bush, I think was before him, will do to stop it, it still won't be stopped as a problem, because you have people saying, hey, you could come over and work for us for cheap and get your family over here. So, yep, it's really just the 1%'s fault, not like any political party. It's the elites who want cheap labor.
All right. Okay, Trip, your turn. Your 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'm glad that you made the distinction between immigration and illegal immigration. And while there are people who don't want any immigrants coming over, I think that's a little ridiculous, because we have massive amount of infrastructure that needs great minds to run it. And the way our tech businesses have been flourishing over the last decade or two, I say the more talented people in our country, the better. However, if people assume that they can just come over here and break our laws, I think they're sadly mistaken. I don't know why that has become a right-wing position. That position of mine hasn't changed for years and years, and now I hear liberals like my parents, who I complain about a lot on this show, completely changing their tunes and saying that it's okay. Like Democrats now, I'm not talking about politicians, but Democratic voters are okay with open borders policies. They've said this to me. We have plenty of space for everybody, and my take on that is basically that you can't break the law. I was talking to my girlfriend about this today, and we kind of agreed that whoever's in office, their attitude has quite a bit to do with the way people come into the country. So, for instance, Trump, very, very hard on immigration, kind of a no bullshit type of dude. Even had people stay in Mexico until their hearings. It seemed to work. You know, I think it was a couple years ago, their low was like, what, 16,000 interactions at the border, which is still a lot, but it's far less than 100,000 that we had in February this year. And Joe Biden, they're coming to the border now with shirts that say, please, Joe Biden, let us in. They think that, and not everybody, but some people think that they can come to the border and it's just going to be open arms policies just because he ran on that 100 days weird thing. And yeah, they're mistaken.
All right. Rafiq, your turn.
On the immigration issue, if everybody's thinking, I'm gonna say it's the fault of Democrats, that is not correct. It's the fault of both Democrats and Republicans. Also, the sanctuary cities that our Cats Gay has mentioned, which is our cities, and I mean, presently, I think isn't my new incoming senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican, advocating for open borders immigration? I mean, when Republicans had the power before Donald Trump, how come they didn't do anything about the immigration problem back then? Basically, to echo what Felix said, to me, it's like the Democrats want the immigration to buy votes, and the Republicans want it for cheap labor. I mean, since Trump did try to contain it, it makes sense that it's increasing into Joe Biden and to easily blame him for this. but it could be that maybe Joe Biden forgot about it or don't know what to do about it.
Okay, that's it?
What?
Okay. BJ, go ahead. Your turn.
Republicans and Democrats are both responsible. So back in the day, I think it was like 1965, Ted Kennedy has the Immigration Act, which switched us from a system of merit immigration to, okay, we'll pick some from this country, pick some from this country. It's not going to be as difficult to get in. Now we have 20, 30 million, most likely, illegal. We don't even know the number, which is the problem itself. Illegal aliens living in the country, sucking the benefits from people and skipping the line of people who want to come in legally. And this has had a huge disastrous effect on us. And like Felix mentioned before, like when these people come in, they're taking blue collar jobs, right? And they're driving the wages down for blue collar people. A lot of Mexicans come in, they do construction or the blue collar jobs. Now that doesn't affect a lot of us in this panel. For us, it might be a good thing. It might be a good thing to have cheaper houses and cheaper consumer goods, cheaper things for Walmart. But we're sucking that money from the people who need it most, the blue collar people in America. And because of the Immigration Act, because of the way we've treated immigration, wages haven't been increasing nearly as much as they should have at the bottom, only at the top, right? So, I mean, before Trump, both Republicans and Democrats for decades were on the exact same page. Okay, bring in cheap labor. Republicans, free market, absolutists, like, bring them in. Democrats, for slightly the same reason, but also because they knew it was getting them a voter base. And they're bringing them in, and both sides were on the same page. When Trump came into office, one of the reasons it was a big uproar is because this was, you can't say this anymore. You can't say that we should have national borders. We should keep people out. So Trump was the first to try to stop it. Was it successful? No. Temporarily, he did a good job with his attitude and also with some of his immigration rules. What's happening right now is obviously Biden's fault when it's repealing a lot of the rules that he's had in place. But overall, the immigration issue has been a thing for decades and decades. Both Republicans and Democrats have been ignoring it. And now we have, again, up to 30 million illegal aliens in this country, 10% of the country, which is scary to think about. And if you don't want people to come here,
okay,
you can actually stop it. We're a powerful country. We should militarize the border. And if human traffickers start getting shot, they're not going to be coming in anymore. I promise, really easy way. We shouldn't have our troops out in Afghanistan. It should be at our border, defending our country.
Okay. All right. Jupiter, your turn.
Rafiq, I love you, but I just want to correct you. I believe Lindsey Graham uses she, her pronouns. So in the future, if you could respect that, that would be
okay. Yeah, so.
You know what? You know whose fault it is? You want to know whose goddamn fault it is? It's the fucking people coming across the border because they're dummies. Why would you come here? This is going to be a communist shithole in about a year and a half, tops. Once Emperor Kamala takes her rightful throne, which was not stolen at all, but once she sits in her throne, we're fucked. So the dummies coming across the border, good luck. There's not going to be any money. So, but to what BJ was saying, and I'm glad he said this, because this whole 11 million illegal immigrants, for decades we've been saying this as if they haven't multiplied, as if they haven't bred, as if it's all bullshit, but it's close to about 30 million. If what they're doing now and this unbridled capitalism is the problem, you can't have welfare in open borders, but you also can't have libertarianism. And this is the whole problem that I have with Archer, that I have with a lot of people. Libertarianism, this utopian goal of freedom, cannot ever happen if we keep letting this porous border happen. But I believe it was 6,200 people crossed the border yesterday that we know of. We don't really know. It's probably 10,000. These kids in cages that Obama built, Biden has now expanded them as best he could and still is not able to take care of these kids. It's going to get to a point where humanitarian crisis doesn't even begin to fucking talk about it. It is fucked up. Have you seen these kids are stacked on top of each other, brought there by coyotes, put into sex trafficking, and we're all like, oh, well, it's humanitarian. No, I quit. I hate you people.
Okay. All right. I also want to add information that we won't won't know what the true status of what's going on in the border because Biden has blocked reporters and anyone, photographers from coming near those facilities. They are forbidden to come near those facilities. If Trump was to do this, I just want to point out the hypocrisy here. If Trump were to do this, the left and the liberals would have been yelling the First Amendment, you're just trying to censor the press, this, and the other. But so much stuff is tolerated with Biden. And I think the next time, because Biden's going to do some more crazy shit. So next month's topic will be on like comparing. We're going to compare, because it should be 100 days for Biden to be in office by next month, right? Does anybody
Has it
know?
been that long already?
We're in
Maybe
March
May,
right
right?
now. Next month will be April.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Yeah, it'll
start
be
of
like
June.
the end of April.
Sorry,
April
start
3rd.
of May. Excuse me.
Okay,
May
well, we'll
1st,
wait
something
until
like that,
May
yeah.
because I want to compare Biden's first 100 days versus Trump's first 100 days, and let's see who's really worse and who's really better. But I want to say this, and then we're gonna get into free form. I want to talk about the black aspect of it because a lot of people, especially on Twitch, think they know about the black community. They don't know jack. They just get in a little echo chamber talking about oppression, Black Lives Matter, and all this other shit. And Rafiq knows this for a fact too because he's in the black community. California, the South Beach, Crenshaw, and Compton used to be heavily populated black areas. Now they are 70 to 75% gentrified, and they're 80 to 85%.
Compton, sorry to interrupt.
It's-
Compton is about to reach 80% Hispanic.
Hello, I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry, but yeah, Tree, and that I'm sorry, but and also if you ever want to know how many days Biden served in office, go on Twitter. There'll be a picture of him walking. 50 days in office, work isn't done. But yeah, please,
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, work isn't done right. So I just want to show you, and for those who don't really know, y'all need to stop listening to people who say they know about the black community. They don't know shit. Y'all don't know this, but Hispanics from the south of the border don't get along with blacks, and when they get in there, their gangs are nothing to fuck with when it comes, when they want to go against black gangs, and they drive black families, black people out of these areas and have them relocate. So
When's the last time you heard about that in the news, by the way?
you won't hear that about in that
Never.
news because they don't give a fuck.
Right.
You cannot talk about that shit
Gang
and sit
warfare
up
is
here.
local.
Good comment, Grimace. It is local, but you see now our national media takes local stories and blasts them to put a certain narrative, but they never take those local stories. Those local stories can't improve their narrative.
So what's
at
your
all.
problem exactly? That it's not being
Grimace,
broadcast,
wait,
or that
you know what?
other
So,
things are
you're
being
asking me a
broadcast?
question. So what's my problem? Well, first off, national news shouldn't focus on one specific story of a killing in order to
Okay,
blast
so
the
you
narrative.
agree with me.
But if there is a trend over time such as that, then yeah, I'd rather have that on national media than something else. But you're saying, the whole entire point is
Well,
this.
sorry,
When it comes-
what's the trend then?
the trend is that we have a lot of Hispanic gangs and black gangs killing each other right now. A lot of the Hispanic gangs, MS-13, illegal immigrants are coming into the country, and that's never talked about. And that's actually a really huge issue. So if you could bring up
It's a
local
big
stories, you definitely
issue.
bring up that, 'cause that's a big local story. I mean, it's a local over a long, very
Grimace,
large
Grimace.
area.
And Grimace, another problem besides the gangs, which MS-13 is much more well-funded than the black gangs, it's the schooling, which Compton, Crenshaw, they were so far below the national average in schooling. And then when all this Hispanic influx came into their schools, they had to hire bilingual teachers and teach in both English and Spanish.
True,
which
they did.
brought the black students even farther behind the national average. If you look at the trends, the more bilingual, the more Hispanic influx these schools get, and these kids speak no English, the further black students fall behind. It's a fact.
Okay, sorry. I mean, you guys are known to kind of spout or go a little over
Go
the
ahead,
top,
you
but I
can
came
go
here like
fact
prepared to talk
check
about
it.
the border.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys are known to.
I think
No,
we're
that's
just
fair.
talking
That's
about
fair. No,
certain
no, no.
stories that get covered
We're
and
gonna.
certain stories that don't.
I want
And
to
it
say.
has to do with minorities.
I want to say that the reason why that's relative is because we need to take care. We need to be more strict on illegal immigrations, which is really affecting the Black community. If the left really cares about blacks, which they don't give a fuck. They would basically pay attention to how this is affecting Black people, how it's affecting Black communities. But let's get back on that. Whose fault is it? And also, let's talk about how do we solve it. So go ahead, freeform. Anybody can jump in.
Well, I already said something kind of controversial, which I mean, maybe you guys can jump in on. But I think that one of the ways to stop it is to militarize our border and make extremely harsh penalties, such as getting shot in the fucking head if you're a human trafficker bringing people in. I promise you, if you militarize, first, I mean, our military shouldn't be out overseas not defending us. Go and defend us right there from people breaking our laws. And listen, like Grimmett said earlier about like, well, you know, like these Guatemalans, like a lot of violence there, so they come over here. These are all economic refugees. They're not coming from violence. And if you have an easy path, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with doing that. If I was them, the rational decision for me would be come to the United States because you can make a lot more money here and you have benefits. Of course, as a rational person would do that, but we can't allow that to happen because it hurts our country. So we should use our military or National Guard to go in and defend the border itself and make sure no one's coming in. And we should bring back the laws that Trump had. One other thing, one law that Trump had that Biden repeals was to say if you're coming from Guatemala or something, you want to come to the United States, you're not shopping around. If you're really seeking asylum, then seek asylum in Mexico. They repealed that now. And so now you don't have to seek asylum in Mexico. Well, why would you travel thousands of miles across Mexico to come to the United States? It's not because of the violence, it's because of the economic opportunities. So there's no reason for Biden to have repealed that. It doesn't make any sense.
That right.
Yeah, I don't know if solving it with violence at our border is a good option though. I see your point of like a very real deterrent, but I'm not sure if that's the right way to go because first of all, you can't just shoot somebody. If they are shooting at you, then yes.
The cartels are heavily armed and they do.
That's why I said human traffickers for a reason because human traffickers are the ones who are going to be violent and we can't always catch them because they're really good at what they do.
So right, what I'm saying is
so you're saying to just pick him out of a crowd as they're crossing the desert?
I got this, Grimace. I got this. So you can't just kill people if they're just human traffickers though. Like if you want to shoot people who are shooting at you, then I can understand.
Or if they're coming onto your past your border, you can.
I understand.
I mean, the military should defend our. If you pass that imaginary line, if you pass an imaginary line, then you're a legal alien. I wouldn't be doing this against citizens, but as a trafficker, of course.
But how do you tell who's who? How do you tell who's who? Like
you're right. You're right. You're right that it's difficult, but honestly, like that whole entire difficulty will work itself out because people are not going to come across the border if there's a risk of getting shot.
People will die. That's the problem.
Wait. One at a time.
Don't cross the line.
I was just going to say, if you listen, look at say Texas, right? Say if Texas and look at the UK when it comes to home burglaries, right? There's not as many home burglaries in Texas as there are in the UK because people know if they go into someone's house in Texas, you can get shot in the head. And the UK, it's not going to happen. So just the idea that there's that sort of threat deters people from coming. So like we're not talking about violence. I'm talking about bringing the military down and giving the orders. These are the people who live in Mexico and Guatemala are not retarded. They're rational people. They go, these are economic opportunities I can take advantage of. If they instead say, oh, I'll take the risk of possibly getting shot because I'm with this trafficker, then I'm not going to take that risk. So just the actual idea of them being able to impose violence stops the violence.
Hold on, Wait. Rafiq, and then Katz. Rafiq, go ahead. And then Katz, and then Jupiter. Go ahead.
You'd be surprised how other countries have their borders looking like militarized. There's nothing wrong for the U.S. to have militarized border, especially if you have like gang violence south of the border. So I think the military would be necessary. I mean, sure. I mean, don't necessarily just shoot anybody coming, but if they refuse to listen to warnings, multiple warnings, then they may not have no choice but to shoot. As long as they say the warnings. Yes, they.
Sorry, finish. I wanted you to.
No, because it was saying like, okay, just arrest people who come to the border, but let's just say no, just don't come. I mean, we got to follow whatever procedure it is if they want to like seek amnesty.
Isn't the way most of the people come through like through an airplane and they just overstay visas?
No, well,
No,
yes, that's the
no. That's
wait,
not
those
true
with
though.
money,
That's not
yes.
true.
Hold on, wait.
No, that's not true though.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I
There are
haven't
some
I haven't
who do
forgotten
that,
about
but
you,
Hold on,
Cats.
wait, hold
everybody.
on. There is a gigantic falsehood in that statistic. Yes, the overwhelming majority of documented illegal stays of visas are by airplane. We have no idea the
Exactly.
numbers of wait, hold on, please. The numbers of people coming across the border, we have absolutely no idea. Look at the people. They had 29 people, 27 people in a fucking SUV. What, 13 of them died? But they stacked them 27 high in an SUV. We have no idea the numbers. But wait, hold on, wait.
Jupiter, they use models to come up with these numbers, right?
No,
they
no, they
Those
don't.
models
actually.
cannot be accurate. The
Those
same models that give us
models
11 million people.
Why can't they be accurate?
The actual
Because they have no idea. They don't have the information to put into the models in the first place.
Exactly.
What information are they missing?
I don't know.
It's percentage of a pool, right? And then you apply
they don't know how many people are crossing the border. You can't come up with what percentage of them are doing it if you don't know how many are doing it in the first place.
And Grimace,
You don't have any information.
No, these are overstayed visas.
No, Grimace, Jupiter, stop for 1 second. Grimace, you're conflating it. We're not talking about overstaying visas. We're talking about that. There's those people, and there's the people who are coming across the border who are not documented. We have no idea about it.
So
those
the ones
people
that
have
are
no
not
idea.
on overstayed visas, we can
Not those. Those are documented, Grimace. We're talking about the people who are coming in illegally, undocumented.
Wait, hold on. Can I get this out? The people that come,
And then once you finish, Jupiter, hold on. Once you
majority-
finish, Jupiter, I want Cats to get in. Go ahead.
Go
ahead, Jupiter. I said once you finish.
Everyone said, no, not you. I'm not. No.
Okay.
I'm just flustered in general.
Okay.
The reason they say that the people coming in are most coming in via airplanes and overstayed visas, that's because those people are documented. They check in. The people that are coming across the border, you have no idea. As to the militarized border, BJ is right, but at the same time was a little harsh about the shoot them. It's the threat of being shot. The militarized border, our troops right now are in Afghanistan for no fucking reason. They're in the Middle East for no fucking reason. And instead, they could be on the border deterring people. Israel put up a wall and border guards, and they dropped their fucking illegal immigration by 99.8%.
All right, Cats, go ahead.
What you do.
Okay, go ahead, Cats.
I'm drunk.
Good for Israel is good for America. Let me put it this way:
That's
what's good
right.
for Israel is good for America.
That's right.
We can debate about the specific mechanisms at the border itself, but there is, I think, a two-step solution that would cut the vast majority of illegal immigration, excluding cartels and smugglers. That being to make the penalty for employing illegal immigrants extremely harsh, because at this point now it's a slap on the wrist. They should employ they should employ similar measures that they do for RICO. Basically, like if you own a business like a chicken processing plant or something that hires illegal immigrants, and they know they're illegal immigrants, if you knowingly hire illegal immigrants, then you don't get a fine. Your business either gets seized or people go to jail. That's the first step, is to make sure that the price for the risk for employing illegal immigrants is so high that no one is willing to take the risk. It's like people that try to do forgery. Yeah, some people do it. Most people don't do it because it's really stupid. You want to get risk going to federal prison for making $100 bills. Like, the other step to do it is to pass a federal law that bans states from making it easily accommodating to illegal immigrants. Make it difficult for them to get onto state benefits programs. Make it difficult for them to go to the DMV, to get driver's licenses, to get scholarships. Right now, there are two big reasons why illegal immigrants come in vast numbers. Because the majority of people that are coming, I'm not saying they're bad people. They're coming because they want to make a better life, and because they know there are lots of jobs that will pay them more than they're used to, even though it's less than what we want. And they know that there are many states, not all, but many states that have generous welfare programs that are easy for them to access. If you make it very difficult for them to find work, and you make it very difficult for them to get benefits, the majority of people will not even want to come.
Cats, that's so stupid, because everyone knows Chuck Schumer and Biden and everyone told me black people and brown people can't even find IDs or the DMV to get driver's licenses.
Can't go online.
You
can't go on the internet.
Can I say one thing before Grimace
We don't
goes?
know how to
I want
go
to pose a question to Grimace as well. But our cats, I like everything you said. Everything you said on a local level, which is going to make things hard because Texas might do all those things, but California won't, right? And so when it comes to maybe
federal,
right?
Yeah. So when it comes to a national level, like E-Verify, that sort of thing. I want to pose two things if you don't like my militarization of the border. The first one is also harsh, but I definitely believe it. The second one, I really want to hear about what Grimace says about the second one. The first one is that I don't want to have the United States processing any asylum claims, number one, because they're going to be the system is completely abused as it is, and if you don't have to show any proof of it, then there's no point in even having it. So if you don't have an asylum process, they can't apply for asylum, and we don't deal with this stuff anyway. So you don't have to talk about that if you don't want to. The second thing I do want to hear from Grimace, and that is what I talked about when it comes to if you're from El Salvador or Guatemala, how come you're not to shop for where you want to seek asylum, right? Trump's rule was, okay, if you're crossing Mexico, apply there. And Biden said, nope, strip that. You're allowed to cross Mexico and apply with us. That is something that could really deter a lot of people outside of Mexico from coming up, is that, oh, you should have applied there. You're out of the way of violence. So that's the question I have to pose to you. Why not? Why was that repealed?
Oh, by the way, Grimace, you can answer that, but
sorry,
now hold on, you can answer that. But before I say, I got some news headlines. Somebody just DM me this. We have now 15,000 migrant children that are now held in custody at the border, and they are now placed.
Fantastic.
That's it. Joe Biden can do better than that. Come on,
Yeah,
Joe.
get them numbers up.
Pump those numbers up.
Joe Biden probably has
It
more
was
children
4,000. Now we went to.
I was going to make the same joke about Jeffrey Epstein.
Rookie numbers.
Okay, go ahead, Grimace. I'm sorry. I just had to get that.
We got a lot of vaccines right
I
now.
remember my
Sorry.
first time being emperor of the open border country. Those rookie numbers.
Okay,
go ahead, Grimace.
we don't have open
Cages,
borders.
Joe.
Biden's policy is
Who built
not
the
open
cages?
borders.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta let
They
him
were
talk.
built underneath the Obama administration, but they were used as a deterrent for people by separating children from their family underneath Trump, which was the problem there, right?
No,
the,
no,
Are you
the
saying
change
that
in
we
how
did
they
that?
That's
Most
not
of them weren't really there with
Like
their
they knew that
family.
was going to happen.
Hold
when
on,
they got
can I
there.
That's
listen?
a lie.
Can I?
You're
Can I?
lying. That's a lie.
Let Grimace finish.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah,
Grimace
let him
finish.
talk. Let him talk. Let him talk. Let him talk. Go ahead, Grimace.
So going back to I've like lost. I know Big Bad Bear. What was the two things that you asked me like really quick?
Well, the second one more important is if you're from Guatemala, El Salvador, crossing from Mexico, why don't you apply Mexico instead of the United States? Biden repealed that. They go, you don't have to apply Mexico. You can come straight to us. You can shop around.
Yeah. I don't see that big of a deal for that. I would prefer them to be able to shop around, but like these other countries don't have great economic opportunities. Well, we know, like we were just discussing earlier, that Mexico is extremely violent and it has like roaming gangs. Like, yeah, and we
Mexico is not suitable for human habitation.
No, they are, and if those people want to stay in a Spanish-speaking country, that's fine. But they can also come and seek asylum in the United States because we offer asylum to people.
We're rich and they want to get our benefits.
Sure,
they want to take our
like
opportunities.
yeah, like going back to you, like what would be the reason that we bring the military down there? Like I can't see a situation where like we would need like armed. Yeah, the cartels aren't crossing the border. One second, let me finish. Like you have to understand. You have to understand how fascist this looks when we're gonna get behind putting the military on the border.
Many countries
Is Israel fascist?
Okay, but we don't
Israel
need
fascist?
one. Okay, Israel needs one because Palestinians were blowing up cafes on the daily.
We have more people dying from drug overdoses in this country than we ever have before. Yes, we do need one.
It's not just Central American. Chinese are coming through our southern border as well and bringing drugs to there as well. So it's not just a Central American problem.
All of these things don't have to be solved by the military.
13 people from Yemen that were on the terror watch list in one single week. 13 fucking terrorists. And by the way, wait a minute. No, wait.
Wait a minute. You guys have been interrupting me. You're like, then you want to go on the street for like.
Go ahead, Grimace. Go ahead.
You're right.
Fuck. Wait. I want to stay on the whole like fascist idea. Like we can solve these problems without fucking calling in Rambo to come down and start taking out alleged traffickers. Like we don't need that.
I don't have to shoot them, but we do have thousands of people that could be at the border at least looking out. do have that.
Those don't have to
What
be
happened?
military. We
Grimace,
have
the
we have a
People's
tradition
House
of using our military in
The
certain
People's
ways.
House on
It's
Capitol
the National
Hill
Guard.
is more well guarded than our border. Our
That's true,
elected
Grimace. What's your
representatives,
reply to
and when
that
I say
one?
elected, I say
Hold on,
Bring
Jupiter.
those National Guard members
That's
to
a
the
very
southern
hold on, Grimace. That's a very good point Jupiter made up. Why is the Capitol more of a priority than our border?
Because the Capitol has elected officials who run the government.
Who,
What do you mean?
And the country has the regular old plebeians.
Nobody's crossing the
Tree,
border
everyone knows it's
to
a
murder our
response to
representatives.
January.
You know that, right?
Everyone knows it's a response to January 6th, and it's optics. All right, they were completely
and it's-
unprepared on
but
January 6th.
here's my thing.
and
There
they're
is not
overprepared
a
now.
constant.
Optics.
You
It's
got
temporary as long as QAnon is coming up with all
QAnon
these
is
different
not
conspiracies.
QAnon
Get
is
people
not
riled
a
up.
threat. Hold on. Let's be good faith here, okay?
They're so
There's
scared
no
QAnon shaman.
Yeah, there's no threat. There's more of a threat to our country at the border than to these rich politicians that are in the Capitol. And mind you, they're not even there all day, every day. You can't deny
People
that.
are crossing
can you?
the border to
Tree,
murder people.
Tree,
Tree.
wait.
People are crossing the border for economic opportunity.
I pose
Which
a question to
Wait,
Grimace?
But
Tree, real quick,
I was very glad to hear he highlighted it
Should-
earlier.
should I
you did
get-
an episode, Tree, you did an episode about a year and a half ago, I think, when El Chapo got put into a prison that he basically built, and his cartel got him out of the fucking prison. He busted out. MS-13 and the cartels have toppled the Mexican military. They've literally annihilated them. The Mexican military is at the fucking beck and call of the cartels. And you're telling me that the fact that we don't have a militarized border doesn't make sense? If they can topple Mexico's entire military, maybe we should have a couple people with guns on the border. Maybe I don't know.
I think they have guns on the border. It's not the
hold on.
military.
I'd like to pose a
But
question.
if it came
Grimace,
to such a
how many
situation
border
that we needed
patrol-
the military, obviously we'd bring them. in,
How
but
many
we're not
border
at that.
patrol?
Yes,
Hold
we
on.
are.
Let me make sure I understand your argument. You're saying that the reason why we need the National Guard at the Capitol is because of a likelihood of violence and death.
Yeah, if you
So-
remember, I don't know how you guys forgot about January 6th real quick.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
nobody.
real.
Hold on. Nobody
there were
on your
bombs
team.
planted
Wait.
at the Capitol.
Nobody on your team died. Now, let me get back to this. You want me to?
That doesn't mean that they couldn't have.
Hold
No,
on.
no
hold
one
on.
was killed by the protesters.
Hold on.
That's the
Hold on.
important
Let me
part.
finish. Would you like me to show you how many Border Patrol agents have been killed while they were on duty?
This is
That's
what they
fine.
wear
I
when
didn't know
they-
how many.
That's why they're there, though, right?
So
This is what they wear
so you
when they
understand
rape
my
and kill
logic here
everybody.
is that you're sitting here saying that we need national security at the Capitol where nobody is dying instead of the Border Patrol where people are dying.
We had to increase it because the amount that we had before wasn't enough when the QAnons descended upon the
Yes,
Capitol.
yes.
We're like-
because
we're
they
like-
would
we're
say,
like
we got
that's why
we
you
need the
people there.
military to
We don't need
to stop people
15,000
from
whatever
killing
this there.
people
We had like
of
9
Israel.
people on January 6th. We can have 100, not thousands and thousands and thousands.
So
I-
we
if
need
there's
the
a threat.
military.
Pose the question
We need
to
the
Grimace.
military to protect Nancy.
Oh, I'm so
Smith.
sorry, Cats. I can't. Go. Oh, we are
Oh, no, it's
Rafiq.
okay,
Hold on.
but-
Rafiq and then Cats. I'm sorry because
No,
I've been
that's- We
hearing.
need the military. We need the military to protect Nancy Pelosi's mail.
And her printer.
People
Afraid
stop.
of the Q. She's
Yeah.
afraid of the QAnon
Yeah,
shaman.
But
shaman
Portland
who
should
knew
have
a
National
nut
Guard
job.
coming in.
Sure,
Those
if
people were in the
you want to
wrong.
try to reframe it to make it seem silly, you can do that, but you can't deny the fact that we need people enforcing security on
That
the Capitol,
many
right now,
security
especially after
guards.
what happened on January 6th,
okay.
where a cop was
But
killed,
not
among
security
other
on the
people at the
building.
time, where,
Okay.
where
No,
bombs were
hold on.
planted.
No
That's
cop was
a lie.
killed in the Capitol, and no one. There's not one single gun charge, not one weapon. No, it wasn't
That
armed
surprised me so
suppression.
much.
A couple fucking morons.
Because they didn't come there to do anything. They got
Capitol.
surprised when they got there.
Yeah.
They got
And
there
they
like,
were
oh, we
right
can
in.
walk in. There was
Okay,
no planned
Cap.
process of killing anybody. They didn't bring any
And-
guns.
And
Come on.
BJ, they were ushered in.
It's an old topic.
Okay,
Yeah,
Cats,
sorry,
Cats,
I-
Cats,
I-
Cats.
I-
That's
Cats.
a weird, like,
Cats,
far
Cats,
left take
Cats.
that they were ushered
We're
in by
not
the
gonna get
cops.
off on this
Exactly.
border thing. Go
I
ahead,
watched
Cats.
it. Wait a minute, it's on camera. I watched
Stop, Cats. Go.
I'd like to pose a question for Grimace. So I hear what you're saying, and it appears that the majority of the issues you have are with the methods that are being proposed. But would you agree, at least in the broadest philosophical sense, that having any points in the border that are uncontrolled is a threat not just to our country, but to the safety of the people that are coming into the country? Since when people are not checked in properly, since when they don't go in through the proper channels, there's a good chance that they may be exploited as sex slaves, exploited economically, or just plain not have access to the proper services because they're not here. Do you agree that illegal immigration is a problem and it should be solved by some method as of yet to be determined?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Good.
We should have an idea of everybody who crosses the border.
Very good. I'm glad that we have that much in common.
And who should be
Oh,
allowed
and I
to
want
stay
to go
at the
back
border?
on. Sorry,
Who
I want
should
to
be
go
allowed
back on the
stay?
whole like we don't know why how many illegal immigrants are there. There's actually studies and methodologies used for using the census. For one, this is one of the big pushbacks why we didn't want people giving out too much information on the census the first time around to estimate based on people answering the census how many people are illegal and how many people like are documented but
you can't tell that from the census because no matter how many people say I'm illegal or
no,
not, there's a
and
lot of people who are not going to be responding.
there's a set percentage done through studies like actually like polling like actual illegal undocumented immigrants that comes up with a number to give an assumption of what percentage of these are undocumented that came over and have never been documented.
No methodology is to be good, especially when it comes from partisan angles. And we learn from our elections where we have polling done a billion times over when it's wrong. Because on the right and on the left. On the left, we have these open borders institutions that want to push out their data. On the right, you also have the same sort of thing where, okay, we want to show as much of the violence as possible. There's not going to be a way, because every time there's a political issue, you can't say, okay, well, we use this model to get to our answer. The model's not going to be right. Coronavirus model said 2 million Americans would die. Well, you know, models aren't correct.
So you don't believe in methods we use to estimate the truth?
No, when it comes to illegal immigration, I don't.
I just got it from you that you dismissed this model because you already had the assumption that it was partisan. You didn't engage with it.
Illegal. No, Grimace. Illegal immigration, you cannot do any sort of model because we don't have all the information that we need. Any model is going to be completely inaccurate.
I just gave you the information that we need.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, no, that information you need is not complete though. Like I just said, like
it's not going to be the exact number.
You give me
one at a time.
You give me two metrics. You said potential census data, so who would answer a legal alien or not, and then also when you do a study, you ask legal aliens how many do respond to a census. Is that the other number? I didn't hear the second number.
Yeah. What percentage?
That's not going to be honest. Obviously, Grimace. It's what a stupid metric.
So you're saying these people would say yes, they do answer the census?
No, they can say yes or no because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them whether they answer yes or no to the census.
I don't know if you've ever like looked at how studies work, but they phrase questions in a way that you don't get the exact question that they want, but you can draw the conclusion off of the answers that are given. It's not in this like, hey, are you documented? Did you answer the census? It's not. That's not how studies work.
Because people have different motivations to lie in all these different areas, and you can't take some small percentage and then multiply it across the whole entire country.
They do, and they get what they want.
Exactly.
Like you can ask a question that says
something. You could use models to get whatever results you want. That's the whole point. Where it comes from a partisan area.
On top of that, Yale.
Why do you guys think this is partisan?
Every single it is.
Where's it coming from? Tell me. We'll see.
Wait, hey Grimace. Two things.
Tell me model. Tell me the institution.
The only two actual.
Yale.
Yale.
Yeah. There you go.
Hold on. Yale actually.
Yeah, the methodology was developed in the year 2000, by the way.
Yale actually puts the
we still have 11 million illegal immigrants, 2000 and now.
Yale has put the number between 21 and 31 million. The only centralized major bank that ever did it put the number at 22 to 25 million. But on top of that, Grimace, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Hold on. Mr. Models, and yes, of course, these major institutions have no incentive to lie about cheap.
Okay, so would there be a big difference, Jupiter, if it was like 5 or 10 million people? The difference?
Let me ask you.
Yeah, that's a big percentage of our country.
That's a fucking huge difference. But wait,
Okay,
May
so
I?
hey, I will just
Wait,
always grant you the bigger number. It
Grimace,
doesn't matter to me.
Grimace, can I ask you a question? It's been 19 years since the 11 million number came out. You don't think that there's not been one person that had kids or crossed the border? How has it been for 2 decades?
Oh, well,
that
people who
there's
are born
only
here are
11
American
million?
citizens. I don't know why you're
Wait,
concerned about them.
No, 11 million people has been said for 19 years. In 2 months, it'll be 20 years. Are you
saying the number is more than that? It
believe-
doesn't matter, Jupiter. Unless you want to
It
count their
doesn't-
children as illegal immigrants for some odd reason.
He's got a point. If they're born here, they're citizens.
No,
Yeah,
Trip,
not the
that's
citizens.
not the point
Not
at
the
all.
kids. Chain migration could happen legally, but the whole entire problem
They
is
won't
that
count. They won't get counted on a census because when someone comes to the door, they're like, "I'm not. Oh, no one lives here."
the
It is
biggest
worth
problem
noting
is
there's a book called How to Lie with Statistics. I'm not saying that we don't know anything, but we could spend all day, we could spend centuries debating the numbers.
in a partisan issue, you can't really do it because you can push it either way you want with the models you want. That's the whole
It's an
entire problem.
issue regardless.
But it keeps going down to the exact same. This
How do you guys ever know anything is
Let me say
true?
one thing. There's one little tiny thing we talked about that I've been bringing up. If we don't know how many people cross the border, we can't figure that out. We literally, if we don't know it, if we don't spot them, we can never figure out no matter what models you use. Okay, we don't know where they're going. A lot of them is a pipeline straight to Chicago. There's a lot of Mexicans in Chicago people don't understand.
Okay.
They're not all in
Grimace,
Southern
tell me-
California. Okay, we don't know the whereabouts.
Wait. Let
Do
me
you
respond.
believe the 11 million number?
Big bad. What do you mean? I believe the number
Do you
itself
believe
isn't
there's
that.
11 million? The
Believe
20-year-old
that.
11 million number. Do you believe it?
No, is that what you want me to
I
say?
think we're getting pigeonholed on numbers.
Okay, you said it's 20 years.
Numbers are
20 years old,
important
then
here.
obviously not,
But
right?
We should talk more about whose fault this is.
We definitely agree that the problem, regardless of how many illegal immigrants' presence in our society is a disruptive influence, and it is not good for us, and it's not good for illegal immigrants. It's not good to be an illegal immigrant. It sucks to be an illegal immigrant.
Well, listen,
That's why we need to give them past the citizenship.
Illegal immigrants come here
All
and
of
they
the
remit a lot
passive
of money.
citizenship isn't giving them citizenship, right?
If they're illegal,
Don't give
they're
them any
criminals. They shouldn't
citizenship
be here.
because they actually have to wait in line like everyone else. We have a merit-based system. But the thing is, illegal immigrants, they come here and they remit their money back to Mexico. So this could be considered a boom for Mexico. They might argue our best people are going there, not necessarily. A lot of them don't have the economic opportunity, so they go into over here. But the problem is that it's bad for our country. So I don't really care. I mean, yeah, it's good for people coming here, but I don't really care about them because they're not our nation. This is a bigger discussion. We talk about conservatism, but I'm a nationalist and I want to do what's best for Americans. And when low-wage workers come into here, and by the way, like a lot of trade unions knew this back in the day. All the trade unions were huge against immigration, right? Even the Mexican trade unions were the ones who were saying, no, we should not be bringing more of them over here to drive down the supply of labor. This takes away blue-collar jobs, drives down wages, and the people who benefit are people on top. And that's what people on top go, I don't care if there more people are in the construction industry. I don't care about this because it's benefiting me. Well, even in the long run, it's not because of the tax base and giving them education, that sort of thing. But sorry, I'll let you go.
Yeah. So underneath Trump, unemployment reach was below the natural rate that we should be expected. Like, of course, we need illegal. Like, we're not popping out babies at the rate that we need to keep up with the economy. Having more labor is a good thing.
For businesses, not for people.
Yeah, for business, not for those people that are
people benefit from businesses. They're employed and they own businesses.
Your whole argument for illegal immigration is that we aren't having enough babies, then we can incentivize people financially to have more babies. But to BJ's point, Cesar Chavez, not necessarily a right winger, was a Hispanic man, a union man. He literally positioned his men on the border so that illegals couldn't come over, because do you know who gets hurt most by illegal immigration? Hispanics and black people. That's who gets hurt worse. I'm in the construction industry, and let me tell you something. We have a drywaller that comes in, white dude, and he brings in these 15, 16 Hispanic people. They get the job done like that. They get paid like dirt, and they take all jobs from minorities and lower class.
Jupiter, they
Well,
don't
we're really
care
exploiting those
about
illegal
black people. They just
immigrants,
use
right?
them
Yeah,
to
which is-
promote
We
their
definitely got to get them
policies.
documented on a path to
Or
citizenship.
just keep them from
Like
coming.
we need these
Yeah,
people.
Would you give
or
someone who crossed the
militarize
border
the-
illegally a path to citizenship?
If they legally,
Cross the
yes.
border illegally.
Legally, they deserve to
No,
be here.
illegally. If they
Illegally.
crossed
Illegally, no. Fuck them.
What if they married an American citizen?
Nope.
If they're
They're illegal
if they're
then.
What-
That's
what
like, hold on,
caveats
hold on.
are- hold
Let's
on,
not
what
let's not
caveats are
conflate.
there?
Hold on. I see where you're going, Trip. Let's not conflate the process, because it's still a process to get here
Right.
legally. We are against people
Even if you're marrying someone.
coming in and cheating the system by getting in front of the people who are doing the right thing. Therefore, you
tourism,
are
things like
basically
that.
rewarding people for basically breaking the law, which is what they are really doing. I know the liberals hate to hear that. You are breaking the law. And so they're say, oh, you're a criminal? Great. We're going to go ahead and let you
I'm
be
agreeing.
a citizen.
I agree with that.
It's worth noting that the United States is one of the only countries that grant citizenship by birth. There are people
Yeah, we
that
need to stop
almost
that.
no country does that. In Japan, and I'm not saying this is a good thing, but
Yes.
just to give you an example, in Japan,
Yes.
there are people that are descended from Koreans that have been in Japan now for like 2 or 3 generations. They've
Yeah.
never been to Korea. They don't speak Korean. They're still not Japanese.
Because most
Yes,
countries are
that is
most
true.
countries are ethno states, and our country is the most racially diverse, but racially accepting country in the planet. No matter what you hear from anybody else. If I can say one thing about Grimace's comment about the employment rate, is like, oh, when employment's low and Trump, it's not a good thing. It's a fucking great thing. When you have an oversupply of labor, that pushes down wages. When you have an undersupply of labor, when unemployment is very low, that pushes up wages. Now employers need to pay them more for their job because they're more in demand. So there is a balance, but that will push up wages. And bringing in low-wage workers does not help us. If you want to say bring them into the tech industry and into the high-tech jobs, you know what? I might be okay for those HB1 visas, but not for the low wage. We have a lot of people in this country that can do blue-collar jobs that just aren't because they're being out-competed because you can pay a Mexican half the price.
Wait, so isn't this
true.
the reason we need a better minimum wage?
No.
Oh,
No.
let me
No,
answer.
because they
This is
undercut the
what
minimum
Common
wage.
enforced.
That's what he's saying. The minimum
talking
wage doesn't matter in these.
Oh, you're talking about legals here, not like I'm talking about natural. I'm talking about
A
natural.
minimum wage with
no.
open borders
I'm
and a
talking-
path
I'm
to
talking- guys, I'm
citizenship
talking
for
about
illegals.
A minimum wage is a government enforced wage in order to artificially raise the wage. You could naturally raise the wage by not having low income workers flood communities.
Yeah, true.
If you keep unemployment low, then the workers are more in demand. You have to pay them more. And the reason why wages haven't increased because we've been importing millions and millions of blue collar jobs. Now, listen, wages have increased at the top ends. They have increased in the upper middle class. Okay, but it's not increased in the blue collar area for that reason. So we can be as progressive as we want. The immigration is hurting blue collar jobs and keeping their wages down, and that's the big problem.
I think it's actually the culture for that. Like, there's like I think like every economist agree that like immigration in whatever form benefits the U.S.
Immigration or illegal
So,
immigration.
Grimace,
except
We're
one
not
population
talking
that doesn't
about.
help
We're not
are
talking
low-wage
about
minorities.
immigration, Grimace. We're talking about illegal
things
immigration.
like that.
if I could be nuanced, Grimace, you're right. I'll say you're right. Immigration does economically net benefit a country. The problem is the benefit goes to the people at the top and the middle or upper middle, and it hurts people at the bottom. As a whole, the value is to Americans. And so what I've heard a lot of libertarians saying is, okay, well, if they take the jobs, we could redistribute that money to poorer people, right? But we don't really have a system in place of doing that to say the people whose jobs were stolen, we give you the money. And also, that's not good for society to say, hey,
we need better
you don't have any jobs in this area, or we destroy the coal and you don't have any jobs. Let's give you a check. That's not going to actually help people. We need to have to give them high-paying jobs.
Hey, Grimace.
It sounds like you just want to tax the ultra rich. I agree.
Wait, Grimace.
I said that's what your ideas would entail if we were to destroy the blue collar
Okay,
jobs.
Jupiter and then Cats.
Grimace, you know, my sister just moved to Seattle about 2 years ago, and her average wage doesn't even it's not even comparable to someone in West Virginia, and she's just getting by. Are you telling me a federal minimum wage on someone in rural Alabama, West Virginia, Ohio is fair compared to somewhere like New York? And also, don't you think that someone like Amazon or Walmart could be able to pay this minimum
Hold
wage?
on.
Whereas
Wait,
your mom and pop
stop.
shop would
No,
not?
stop. No, Grimace, stop. Okay, listen. If you guys want to talk about minimum wage, we can.
Well, he brought it up. I
No,
apologize.
wait. We can talk about that as the next topic because I don't think Archer's coming, and I don't want to talk about the conservatism thing until Archer's here. So we can talk about the minimum wage afterwards. But go ahead,
I can
Kat.
tie it in. I can actually tie it back to what we're originally
Thank you.
talking
Yeah, go ahead.
about. The reason why like liberals should support a strong border and not allowing illegal immigration, because liberals tend to argue for a higher minimum wage. Except the minimum wage is useless in the presence of illegal immigration because illegal immigrants will not be paid the minimum wage. It doesn't happen. That's not why they're here. But if you have in Jupiter's business, for instance, like in construction, they're not getting paid minimum wage. They're getting paid a flat amount of money, which if you average it out by hours, some of them, these people are working for like $5 an hour, if maybe.
But even if they're getting above minimum wage, they're still getting a lot below our American standards because it's still a lot of money to them. They can live 5 people in a room, remit their money back.
And they do.
And so
no
even
one
if it's
gets
above
hurt.
minimum wage,
No one gets hurt worse than black people. Trust me. In the construction business, I work almost exclusively alongside black men, and this is their biggest issue, is the illegal immigrants that come over here from Honduras, from Mexico, and they come in, there's 8, 9 of them that get paid the same amount as 3 or 4 of us would work, and they get it done fast as fuck, on delay, and no one gets hurt worse than the minority community. It's a fact.
no one's speaking out for them because if a bunch of immigrants are coming here and taking Jewish people's jobs, lawyers and accountants and things like that, there'd be an uproar. But it's happening that people don't have a voice, and so no one's speaking out for them.
What's your response to that? What was your response, Grimace?
Virtue signaling now.
No.
Sorry, what do you want me to respond to?
That was
what is your response? And
It's okay.
hold on. What is your response on how illegal immigration hurts black people?
Yeah, I think I just said that, right? Like low wage minorities get hurt the worst by illegal immigration.
Okay.
That's why we need to have policies in place to compensate for this.
We agree.
But you're saying because of this problem, we need to have this solution to the problem. Why don't you cut the problem out of the picture? Why do we have to say, this problem is bad? Cut the problem out. You're treating the symptom of it.
No,
the disease.
like this is a benefit to our society, except for this small population. So we need to take care of that small population. So we also get the benefit.
What benefit?
Would be cheaper labor, and that's
more
going to be
people.
cheaper
You
products.
want more people?
Labor is a
we
commodity,
got plenty of people
right?
who can work.
Who are begging to work.
What
Begging.
So he's right. He's right that there's a benefit because labor is going to be cheaper than what Americans will work for, and so even though more people are going to work for, they're going to work for even cheaper, and this will help out businesses to create products cheaper and services cheaper. So the argument then becomes, okay, this surplus value you get, where does it go? And now it goes to not only the rich but also the upper middle class. The problem, Grimace, it's not just about taxing the upper class, which I kind of disagree with anyway, but if you want to tax them, you say, who do you give it to? You can't just give it to the poor in general. You have to give it to the people who are losing their jobs and target it. And we have no way of doing it. The government is extremely bad at managing any of these programs. We've seen that for the past 70 years. And we can't trust the government to be able to allocate resources in the correct fashion. It's never efficient. Let the free market do it by cutting out the problem in the first place.
I like Kat's idea where he says really have severe punishments for the companies that hire these people. For example, brought up like the chicken processing plant. I'm sure you guys have all heard the example where they tipped off whoever, and then they rounded everybody up. And then, guess what? We just get a little bit of fine. We're not in that much trouble because we did, ICE a favor. And I think that's abysmal. Like, what a terrible thing to do. It sounds like slavery to me, modern day slavery. So I say throw them all in jail if you do something like that. And I think that would probably fix the problem right away. Especially in the construction industry. I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything. And if I were in the situation that a lot of people are in Central America, I mean, I've seen drug wars. I've seen it. Like with my own eyes, I've witnessed a cartel war, like killing cops in the street. So I know how bad it is in some places, and I would come here too, and I'd probably go to Home Depot and just try to do anything if I got a kid to feed, because fuck if my kid's gonna be hungry, you know? I get it. However, if you hire that person, and if you hire millions of people like that, it does have an effect on Black and brown communities that are on the lower echelon of the socioeconomic ladder, especially in places like
and everyone,
Compton,
because they don't
like
pay
where we started
taxes
this
on
conversation.
No, Trip, that is the E-Verify, and everything you just said is exactly what we need to do. And
That's a normal liberal position. I don't know why other people are not saying this.
Because
the left has gone haywire. So
they're going damn crazy.
Republicans and Democrats are on the same page in immigration. We need strong border control, right? They didn't actually mean it, but they're on the same page. The debate about immigration for leftists, liberals, has changed so much in the era of Trump. If you remember during Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2016, he said open borders, that's a Koch brothers idea.
Proposal.
He understood about immigration. Now he's switched off because he knows that immigration has to be humane and has to be all this sort of thing. Because the Democratic Party completely switched in the past 5 years. And now they're
But BJ, not to get too deep into this, another big problem is I'm an independent contractor and the people I work with are independent, but the union guys, they'll sit on a job for months and months and months, fucking around. They're getting hourly wages. They know they're going to get hourly wages. Nothing ever gets done. And then people like me, the independent contractors, we are fighting for our lives against illegal immigration. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not necessarily a bastion of border town, but somehow we're still fighting against the scourge of illegal immigrants, and we can't possibly make the same amount of money that we're making now and compete with them. So let alone minorities, even people like me, a specialist, I'm fighting for my life against illegal immigrants.
You say you're a specialist? Can I play devil's advocate really quick? Maybe you should get more specialized.
How dare you?
I'm being serious. Okay. Like we just said, like if
learn the code.
If the engineers and the doctors doctors is one thing actually.
Tell me to learn the goddamn code.
Yeah, I did.
All right. So I have
devil's advocate.
Okay, I have a new question, and it's still on the same thing. So this is for
I wanted.
Go ahead, Trip.
Mind.
No, Trip. Go.
No, I was just interested to know because, like, I think that people thought education was the way to get up in life, and maybe that's true for some people. However, some people just work harder and they will still take your job, even if you are smarter than, more educated than them. If they work harder than you, you'll get the job.
Don't you got layoff MBAs now? Don't you got laid off MBAs now?
Yeah.
Laid off NBAs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But MBA is kind of useless if you don't come from top school.
Yeah, that's like a liberal arts degree for a dude.
You want to make sure that industries are being protected. Like, I, as a nurse, sometimes feel intimidated by Filipinos because in California, in particular, the Filipino nurse, it's domination. No, it's a hegemony. Like, there's a reason why I do home care, because in facilities, like, you can't work around Filipino nurses for a long time unless you are completely on your game, because if one of them has a cousin, trust me, you'll lose your job.
But those are legal immigrants.
Yes, they are.
So
and
very high value.
Yeah, but that's in response to you. That's in response to your thing of learn the code, Trip. That's why he's saying that.
We're talking about a separate problem, and I don't want to be controversial or anything. But when you bring people from other cultures, even when it's legally, again, almost every country in the world is an ethno state. They care about their own people, and Filipinos like to hang around Filipinos. I'm married to Filipino.
They do.
Okay,
listen. White people are the only ones that don't do
white
it.
People. And so, if you have an ethnic enclave going to any job, and this is like conspiracy theory against Jews, but it's kind of true. Is that if there's a lot of Jews in finance, who like to hire other Jews? I've been offered jobs and it's like, hey man, we got a lot of Jews in this firm. Like, I used to work in corporate law. I'm like, oh, it's a private equity firm. Okay, well, a lot of Jews that you like working there. But white people don't ever have that. Like, non-Jews don't ever have that opportunity. But other ethnic enclaves do, because they like to hire amongst themselves. And so that's a whole other separate problem, but that's definitely going on here as well.
Well, I will say that's definitely right. That's definitely not really a problem. They're looking out for each other. Like the Jews, Hispanic, Latinos, and
group
and
bias.
and definitely several of the Asians,
You
whether
guys are
it's
getting
Guam, Vietnam,
Yes, it's
whether
a problem in a multiracial. It's
they're
a
gonna
problem in a
look out for
multiracial society, though. Like,
And
American experiment in diversity, and that is a problem for us.
It doesn't
We
mean
can't
White
have ethnic
liberals-
enclaves.
White liberals are the only group on earth
Out-group
that
bias.
have actual out-group bias. Everyone else has in-group bias. White liberals have out-group bias.
White
And
educated
that's
liberals.
why
White
everything's
educated upper middle class.
That's why I tell
They don't
everyone
have to
to
be
go
upper
into the
middle class.
trades.
That could just be white liberals. Period. They just I
Jupiter,
don't
will you hire me?
I don't think it has anything to do with
Hire
their
half
money.
of me, and then
White isn't even
DJ can
a
hire
race,
the other half.
White people
God,
You,
I'll work.
the
yes,
views on this
yes, you had me
table
at
are
hello.
white.
Who I'm sorry. Who was talking and got? Was that you,
I don't
Rafik?
know.
No,
Trip.
Oh, I said, Jupiter, will you hire half of me?
Oh, okay. There you go.
I don't have hiring abilities, but
Phalix, you've been
Oh.
entirely silent in this debate. Do you have anything
Yeah,
that you'd like to
Phalix.
contribute?
Don't get
Yeah,
him started.
I don't
on-
like to get in between your guys' testosterone screaming matches. I'm doing it for the viewers.
He's so
I
timid, he
enjoy
thought we
I
had
enjoy it too.
testosterone
Like,
fueled and screaming.
But
I enjoy the smell of it too.
Okay. Let's hear from Felix, and then I'm gonna come up with another question in reference to this immigration. Go ahead, Felix.
But we're all talking about like we need to do this, we need to do this. Realistically, how likely is that to happen? Considering you got people
Not
like
at all.
Rupert Murdoch, the Koch brothers, and like George Soros, who are just so it's like ingrained in like businesses now that like hire illegals for a lot less, and don't worry because you get a slap on the wrist, you don't get punished for it. And then you have lobbyists who are like, yeah, we want this because we don't want to pay people a lot of money. Like, how realistic is that to actually happen unless you start ousting people out of like lobbying positions? Which
It's like
in
term
and of
limits. It
itself
will
is
never
really-
happen.
that's literally
Yeah.
the smartest
Yeah.
thing anyone said this entire podcast, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's definitely called us
See,
all out. We're all
That
pointing
was-
out the solution that will never happen.
Shooting Mexicans in the China
That
Club.
was beautiful. I'm not being sarcastic. That is the smartest thing. Until you get rid of these lobbyists who, after being senators or finance individuals that go into politics, unless you get rid of them, unless you get rid of these fucking Soros, Koch brother, Murdoch people, all this is just fucking nonsense. Donald Trump was a speed bump. We allowed the globalists to get hit one iota, and then they just carried on their way. We put a little rubber on the fucking tracks. Now they're back at it. What can we do?
When people complain about capitalism, they're generally wrong. There are some problems with capitalism. One of them is this: when it comes to lobbyists, be able to make money off of the interest against the interest of everybody else, right? When you have
corruption.
When you have a small group of people who have a lot of money, they say, okay, I want you to push this law, and it's bad for the whole entire country. Let's say it's the fact that a doctor should be able to prescribe. What's that one? How about so my wife's field, right? She's an optometrist, right? And she's not allowed to do laser eye surgery. Ophthalmologists are, right? And so if ophthalmologists want to say, hey, we shouldn't allow optometrists to do this, they can pull a lot of money towards it. And for the whole entire country, it's a good thing to have as much people be able to perform the procedure as possible. It'll make it cheaper, right? But if you have a small amount of people countering a large amount of people who don't have much interest, that's us, then you can easily get laws passed. Because again, you can pay some senators to do it, and the constituency on the other side, which is us who wants cheaper goods, aren't able to fight against it because we don't have a super strong interest, right? That's one of the big problems of capitalism is that they can, and when they leave government especially, they can use their connections and try to say, okay, well, you pay me, we might get something in the future.
Is that capitalism or is that corporatism?
So, I mean,
Like every system.
I mean, yeah, that would be a problem in every system. In our system, it's an issue because like the line between government and the rest of the market is kind of blurred in a lot of areas.
It's porous.
Yeah, it is. So when people want to criticize capitalism, like you can talk about monopolies, although like we should regulate monopolies. We should regulate, lobbyists being able to do certain things. And so I hate when this is absolutism, like, oh, you're a free market, okay, sure, you don't believe in regulation. No, there are some inherent issues, and we need to regulate those issues. When it comes to monopolies, as an example, and when it comes to lobbyists, another example.
Amazon, Twitter, and Facebook is not capitalism. If we
Or
had
Google.
or Google, of course, Google. Well, Google's the biggest one, but if we actually had capitalism, then Google, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter would not be able to put people out of business that are about to do better than them. Parler, for example, Gap.
Minds.
When Facebook and Twitter can bring their wrath down via lobbyists, via the government on other companies, that's not capitalism at all.
That's
So,
corporatism.
Okay.
it's not just corporatism.
Communism?
It's
What did you say, Grimace?
All those companies that you just listed.
no, they're not. Oh,
I didn't
please.
hear
couldn't
him.
hear
What did
what
he
he
say?
said.
Hold on. I can't hear you, Grimace. Something going on with your mic.
That's something naive.
Say it again, Grimace.
Oh, sorry. I said like all those companies you just listed compete with each
I
other.
know.
I agree that they buy out smaller
They
companies.
they
They're
also
at a
feed
point
off each
now
other.
where it's just too far gone. Like they have, it's a real monopoly, and then they start buying things like Instagram. So
And
now
Trip,
they have two
Trip,
most popular.
If they're
Yeah.
separate companies, how is it that they all banned the president, Kara, and all these people within minutes of each other?
Oh
What?
no! More
That's not
importantly,
true. That's a
more-
right-wing conspiracy theory.
More importantly, if they're all separate companies, how come they all have no poaching clauses? How come they all have these weird mutual agreements that prevent people from easily transferring from one company to the other, like so that they can work together more harmoniously?
Right. They have these monopolistic practices to integrate each other's services. And that's like, you have something like, the Apple Store banning Parler. You have those sorts of understandings between them. There's also
Always
the bigger
within
issue
seconds
of
each other.
there's a bigger issue of a natural monopoly.
Wasn't banned on there until like there was information that came out that people were plotting violence against the United States government.
Even when it was disproven, it wasn't even corrected in the media.
One at a time.
Apple,
One at a time.
Apple and
Jupiter, let him go.
AWS had a series of communications with Parler asking them to stop and they need to moderate the platform
And
better.
they did, and then they found out that Facebook had a bigger problem with that than Parler ever did.
It always goes one way, and that's the problem here. You can tell the bias.
Insurrection were on Parler. Do you know? Because the answer is 0, not one of them. Not one.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring it.
I probably got that, but either way, they're more on Twitter.
No, BJ, it's true.
Was he on Parler?
BJ, it's true. Honest to God.
I mean, they're definitely more on Twitter. A lot more.
Way more. But
Grimace, I hate the reason I hate your argument is because I hate this whole thing. Like, well, the corporations justified it this way. You can see through the corporate speak to understand. No, they just don't want Parler. It wasn't because of the Capitol riots. They can blame anything they want. They don't hold that same standard to other companies. The left is great at making these standards, applying them only to the right.
Trump could have gone to Parler.
Why would they? No.
Trump could have
Listen.
gone.
Hold on. Stop. Hold on. Listen. I'm gonna end this part because that's we have a solution for this. We already have. Because you guys know, you already know I do the news for the living, okay? For the living. We already have, I think, 13 states that are filing heavy lawsuits against social media platforms like Facebook, like Amazon, that's going to get solved because they're going to prevent the citizens of their states to have access to it. The second thing is, and y'all ready for this? Okay, brace yourself, Grimace. Okay, because this is going to activate your TDS. Trump has just made an announcement today that he will be launching his own social media platform in 2 months. So, yeah.
It's going to blow.
So,
it's going to be so lame.
Well, now the country's
No, it's not. Hold on. I'm going to tell you why.
The country's completely bifurcated.
Hold on, let me tell you why it's not going to blow. By the way,
Trump University.
Wait. Hold on. Let me tell you why.
I just blocked Trip on my Trump.org.
Hold on a second. Let me tell you why it's. Listen, by the way, I'm a Minds.com girl. No matter what Trump builds, you're never going to get me off of Minds. But I will join his platform. And you know who else is going to join it? Every motherfucker who is going against him on Twitter. People love to hate Trump. You think that platform is not going to be successful? Grimace?
No, I didn't say it wasn't going to be successful. I said it's going to blow.
I'm talking to Grimace.
Well, it's to be bad for this whole entire
mean,
country. It's to be bad for the country to have this bifurcated, the rights on one side and the left, and the people, and also the people who are really antagonistic against both groups who like to get into the fight on both, right? That's what's going to
It's
happen.
going to be branded as a white supremacist website anyway. That's what they always.
We don't,
do.
but you, no,
And
no,
Grimace,
nobody
the prediction-
cares
the prediction
about that anymore.
right now.
No. Nobody cares about
Here's
that.
the prediction for Grimace. That when that platform starts, it will almost immediately be banned off of the Apple platform and Google.
But it
Almost
won't.
immediately.
It won't
they
stop
have
it.
terms of service.
Listen.
They have terms of service.
No. Hold on. It won't. Listen, y'all are not even addressing my question. Well, it was to Grimace, really. So I'm gonna ask it again to Grimace. You think that platform is not going to be successful because, and the reason why, we have had companies lose money because they can't make headlines anymore about Trump. They can't go through the Trump this, Trump that. That's how it was getting these shocking headlines all about Trump. Now that Trump's not in the office, motherfuckers are going out of business. People are losing jobs. Especially, and I love it. I love to see it with a lot of the news headlines, the journalists. They are going out of business. Now that Trump's back in there, baby, now people can get their jobs back because now they can get access to Trump and all the stupid shit he says on his own platform. Hold on, Jupiter. So my question to you, Grimace, is: you really believe this is not going to? I don't care if it gets banned off the app. So what? People still can use their phones to access it directly. They're just being lazy by going through Google Play or Apple Store. You still don't think that's going to be successful?
No, I mean there's going to be some content there, obviously, and people will go over there to interact with this community. But like as I said, there's terms of services. Well, at least
what
for
does
like
that mean?
Apple,
Terms of service. How does terms of service stop him from being successful?
He already knows they're violated.
Yeah.
He already knows they're violated.
If you have a platform where people are violating rules that, like, say if you're Amazon and you're providing all of these servers, and you have
he doesn't need Amazon.
If we're gonna be providing this infrastructure, he does. I don't
he
think
doesn't need Amazon.
No,
I mean,
but he needs the Apple Store, though, right?
He doesn't need Amazon.
Wait, but Tree, he needs the Apple Store. He needs Google, right?
No, he doesn't. No, hold on. Listen. Hold on. Grimace. I promise. This is so rude. You know what? It's rude. I apologize. Go make your point.
Oh, sorry. So even the whole going off of Amazon, like if they don't, I'm sure there's things about moderation and not like taking content off of your servers quickly enough. They probably have rules for that. It's probably like a probation program. But my bigger issue is because it's Trump who's running it. It's just like he's like the anti-King Midas. Everything he touches decays and fails. So like we can look at Trump University. We can look at Trump State. We can look at the United States of America.
Stop. Let him finish. Stop. Let him finish. Stop. Let him finish. Let him finish. And then hold on.
He said something that wasn't true.
I know. Well, let him finish saying what it is not true, and then we can rebuttal because I'm already telling him Trump doesn't need Amazon. You think that Amazon got the only servers? Come on, stop that. Stop.
Gab doesn't have Amazon.
Thank you. Thank you, Rafiq. Gab's not on Amazon. Minds.com is not on Amazon. Telegram is not on Amazon. Why are y'all thinking that Amazon is the only ones with servers?
But what about the Apple Play Store and Google?
You don't listen.
Don't need to be mobile.
No, listen. I Minds.com. Hold on. I'm about to answer the whole Google thing. Minds and Gab were kicked off of the Apple Store
iOS.
and Apple Store and Google Play, right? What they did was they created their own downloadable app by going directly to their website. You have to go directly to their website, minds.com or gab.com.
And you download to your phone?
Yeah.
You download to your phone?
Yes.
Hold on.
You can.
Tree, hold on. I got you on this. Hold on. No, you can't. You cannot. If Apple and Google in the Play Store tells you you're not welcome on the platform, no. But you can have a .com app easily. That being said, CNN, just for example, has lost 1 million viewers, 24-hour cycle per day or more since Trump left office. There is a growing market of anti-Trump people, even, not just pro, that want him back on a platform. He could go to Gab, He could go to mines. He could make his own thing.
Nobody,
But for
nobody
like,
who's anti-Trump
like the
wants him on a
Play
platform.
Store,
What?
someone
Yes,
like
they do.
Oh my
Apple
God.
would
Entertaining.
be- Wait,
Go ahead,
what?
Grimace, did you just say no one who's
Oh
anti-Trump
my God,
wants to see him?
you said that.
That's exactly why they want to see him because
Wait,
they're
what do you think anti-Trump is?
How are the Krakenstein brothers doing then, Grimace?
Did you just name some Jewish brothers for me to have an opinion
Why
on?
does
I had no
everything
idea.
gotta
Who was
be
that?
You
Jewish?
don't know. Oh no.
I interact with a lot of
I'm so
outsiders.
sorry,
I
Kat.
always
Go
want to
ahead,
talk
Kat.
about the Jewish
I won't
bankers,
stand for
the
this.
Jewish. It just sounded exactly like that.
Y'all cats have
Do
his
you guys
hand up
think
for
the
a long.
guy who invented the yarmulke was
you're
just
saying that
bald?
there are neutral parties who are like, or corporate.
Trip, I'm actually
money and
balding
they-
Hold on,
right where the yarmulke goes.
Grimace,
I
Grimace, you
agree,
are
those
so
people probably do
biased.
wanna-
You are so
do want him coming
biased.
out.
You are so biased. And the
What was
thing
the
about
bias?
it, your TDS is so bad that you don't really see that people have lost their jobs because there is no Trump for them to shit on. You do, and for you to not even be truthful and admit that that's the case is just mind blowing, actually. But go ahead.
Tree, can I
They
say?
need to
Hold on, I
follow
want to
both
get
sides of the
Trip
bootstrap.
after Cats because he's been yelled
Sure.
over. So let me get Cats and then Trip and then Grimace can reply what I just said if he wants to. If he wants to, go ahead, Cats.
I just want to say this about Trump social media. Trump, unfortunately, I actually really do like the man, but he's never proven to be particularly tech literate. So I really do hope that he is taking a more active interest in it because, no matter what the persuasion, a lot of people are not going to go through the trouble of downloading the API directly from the website of this whatever service you have if you're banned from the two major duopoly platforms. And a lot of people are just going to kind of side by. I really do hope that it is successful, but I won't be surprised because between Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, there really isn't a whole lot of internet left. Yeah, there's a couple of pirate servers in like Iceland, Thailand, and a few other places. Grimace probably knows better than me because I believe you work in the tech sector. But, it will hurt his platform, but there are a good number of people who will still go through, but it will be severely inhibited if there is tech censorship like we did see in the latest election.
Okay,
Cat.
go ahead,
Cat,
Trip.
wait,
Wait, Trip. Go ahead, Trip. Hold up. Trip is next.
I was
Trip is
just
next.
gonna say one brief thing. If this actually goes through, and all these fake journalists who made all their bones saying donate to my Cash App every time they had a viral tweet about Trump, if Trump actually makes this thing, they're gonna have to all follow him there. There's gonna be a lot of internet traffic there unless they can handle their own servers. Then I mean, if they go with Amazon, they'll get shut down because
they're not.
some people have
though.
agendas.
They
Hold
would
on,
not
hold on.
do. First of all, I don't know why Parler was
They wouldn't
stupid
do
enough
that.
to
I'm not
go
saying
on.
they would do that.
Okay,
Hold on.
because can I put on record?
I know
Parler was retarded for going on Amazon in the first place, so I don't have no sympathy
that's
for Parler.
exactly what I'm saying. So they need their own servers because they're going to have a ton of internet traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have their own servers, then somebody who has an agenda at the top of Amazon can just say nuke them, and then it'll be different than the people who actually benefit off of Trump, like CNN, who talk shit about him but actually really want him to be out in the public eye. That's their bread and butter.
Go ahead,
So all the fake
Jupiter.
journalists are going to have to follow him to that place, and all the bunch of liberals who are pissed off at him will have to follow him there too.
Number one, I fucking couldn't agree more. The Trump derangement syndrome industry is booming. Business is booming still to this day, even since he's been out of the public eye, out of office. But to counter Katz, the thing about Trump is, yes, you're right. He's not that tech savvy. He knows nothing about the medical industry, yet Operation Warp Speed happened. The thing about Trump that makes him Trump, he's a leader. He doesn't know every single field, but he has an uncanny ability to gather around the best fucking minds in certain fields. Tech, medical, border, economy. That's how we fought China. That's how we fought the border. That's how he got Operation Warp Speed. Trump is very good at gathering around people, and what makes a great leader isn't that they know everything. It's that they lead a great group and know who's great in certain battalions.
Okay, one last thing,
Yeah,
and then Grimace, hold on a second. One last thing. Also, y'all understand that leaders get people who can do things they can't. So Trump don't know shit about nothing except he just know how to log his name in. He's an idiot. So but he can hire people.
He's been a business, like we have his entire record, his financial record, his business success.
That's irrelevant. Okay, that's irrelevant,
show.
Grimace. I understand the TDS is real with you, but
I don't know why
he doesn't have to know how to fucking build a server in order to build this business. Are you serious,
hire
dude?
somebody to do it for him. That's what he does.
That's what he's good at.
Too many things.
Do it that well.
Go ahead, Cats.
I don't know why you guys think he did well.
What?
What do you mean?
I was just,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was adjusting my lights. I'm sorry.
Okay. Grimace,
you
you're saying Grimace, you're saying that Trump has to know how to build a website in order to order a server in order to get this done. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And what are you saying then?
I'm saying he's not a proven good businessman, but you guys
He's
like
a
seem
billionaire.
to think he is. He has a record. He has a
Between
record.
Donald Trump's
bad
hair
business.
and a wet raccoon. A wet
lot of
raccoon
money.
doesn't have $6 fucking billion in the bank.
Wait, do you know he
No,
has
I
that
don't.
amount of money
I
after
don't.
all the?
Hey, BJ, I think you're muted because nobody can hear you.
Me?
No, BJ.
DJ.
I am muted. I just said that you
There he
can't look at a couple of small ventures he did and go, oh, because of those small things, he does a lot of different things. He's not a good businessman.
Well,
You can't say
like,
that.
well, here's another.
Tell me where he was a good.
Here's another example.
Maybe you
Google
can.
has
So
a number
in
of
real estate,
high-profile-
Like
plenty of money
99%
in
of
real
his
estate.
companies were good, or 95% of his companies are doing well.
He's mostly in real estate. And also, after a certain while, it was in public, TV and stuff like that. But
Here's
because of real estate, he made a lot of money.
a
Yeah,
good
what were you
counterexample. Google has a number, literally, like 80% of the stuff that Google has ever tried, they cancel or fails. But they're still one of the biggest businesses in the
Yeah,
world.
because they have the
This
money
is
to
just
do it
proof,
and try
this
some
is just proof
things.
that Grimace has fallen for the mainstream media narrative that Trump is not a good businessman. Like,
Well,
yes, some
failure
things have
is-
failed,
yeah.
and then he does bankruptcy, and that's how it goes. He does bankruptcy.
We can make fun of Trump
because he's
steak and
smart.
Trump airline, whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's how
not
we
his
can
main
clown
thing.
that all
Yeah.
at Trump University. We can clown all that,
Yeah.
but you
That
gotta
is fine,
recognize
that's
you
okay.
gotta
We'll
recognize the
clown it
man
with
is a
you.
beast when it comes to
No.
real estate.
But it's just proof that Grimace has fallen for this narrative of he's actually not good at business.
Grimace
when
got
he's
TDS.
got,
You
like
can't really
Jupiter
put him in
said,
that.
billions of dollars.
Wait,
I would love to have his money and have.
I want to push back on this.
Go ahead, push back. Hold on,
Trip
Grimace want to push back. Y'all,
Let the guy.
let him push
Trip.
back.
Trip. So, like, what we know of the tax returns we've gotten from Trump, and you guys are eventually going to have to face this. He's reported a loss like every single year over
That's
the past
what
3 decades.
Yeah.
Is that a sign of a
Yes,
good
he's
businessman?
abusing tax loopholes. I don't like it any more than you do. He's abusing tax
Grim-
loopholes.
Grimace, have
He
you
don't-
noticed
he
that
don't-
Amazon?
wait, let me take this. Let me take this.
Either he's
Yo,
lying,
what he does is he pays
or he's
people
a really bad
he pays
businessman.
people more money than it would cost him in tax, or less money than it would cost him in taxes to get that money taken off. So he pays a bunch of he could hire every H&R Block in the country. Okay, he gets people to actually do all the hard nitty gritty work
you're
for
saying
him,
he's, like,
so
kinda
that
corrupt,
he can
but
get
he's
all the
not
write-offs that
actually-
he wants, and
that is
break it all the way down to like zero. He pays $100 in taxes or whatever
Yeah.
it is because he reports all these losses, and he pays those people who
Yes.
get crunch
So-
those numbers less than he would have had to pay in taxes.
If I can make an example, Grimace, because look at Amazon. Amazon reported losses year after year after year after year, and they're still one of the most valuable companies. The reason why is because what they were doing is that all the profit they were getting, they were spending crazy amounts of money on R&D, research and development, which is an expense, and they took it out of the profit, so they barely made any money. But that
It's a
research was
write-off.
actually boosting their company, right? And so they made tons of money,
Right, and
they
that- and
really
now they're
invested it in
reporting
research and
gains,
development. And I'm sorry, what?
YouTube is never.
Now they're reporting gains, right?
YouTube has never.
Like,
made
Trump-
money.
YouTube is
Trump
losing
knows
money.
more.
YouTube and Google is losing money every year for the last 5 years. They don't care. They don't care. Why? They have the
Like
most
30
successful
years,
product-
guys.
About their
product
agenda.
on the market.
No, you don't,
And
Grimace.
they
You don't
have write-offs.
Grimace, you know that Trump's
All
losing money
write-offs.
every single year.
Write-off.
The other thing I was going to say is that, listen, especially in real estate where there's a lot of market upturns and downturns, a year he could have lost money, and carrying over losses and taxes is not a big deal. Okay, in real estate, especially, you can lose money in 1 year. I mean, in 2009, a lot of people lost money in real estate, and you would call them a bad businessman.
Huh.
Right? And so real estate, it fluctuates a lot more.
We're getting sidetracked. Really badly.
But it's such a stupid thing. Come on,
My point
go
was
to
though-
AAA, you won't
point
become a
was
bad businessman.
Well,
you guys
Grimace,
have
you
no
want hold on,
evidence.
Grimace, hold on.
For the
Grimace,
mainstream
you want to
narrative,
put
that's a great example of why.
can you define
lined up?
hold on, Grimace, can you define because I want to put some money on this. I want to get some money. Define success.
I'm in.
Define success when it comes to a platform and do not include they must be on Google Play Store and Apple Store.
When we're talking about Trump, we're trying to come up with a competitor against Twitter, right? So it would be able to compete with Twitter as far
We're
as
talking about a
attention
platform,
and users.
not a competitor, because I have no idea if he's going to do a Facebook type of platform or a Twitter type of platform. So I'm not going that route. I'm
Would it
saying
be
it's
successful
going to
is the
be
question.
successful. I'm saying it's going to be
Would it be
successful. You said it's
successful?
not
That's
going to
the
be successful. So I want to know what your definition of success is.
Okay, well, my assumed success was that it would
Yeah.
enter this space. That we would enter this space.
Boo, Bear Jew.
He did that on purpose. Oh, you're watching it? Oops.
I'm so
Excuse
sorry,
me.
Grimace. That was so
I'm
bad.
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
That
I'm sorry, Grimace. Go, please
sorry.
Was it me
continue.
who-
No, BJ
Oh,
took off his
sure.
shirt.
I saw it coming. I saw it from a mile away.
You started coming?
I will never
Yeah.
forgive you, Bear Jew. I will never forgive
Can
you.
you not see me?
Go
Lordy
ahead.
Jesus.
I'm so sorry, Grimace. Go ahead.
I know Archer's coming soon, so I want to be prepared. Run off the platform.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the there's no
Well, we're talking about
here. Where's
success.
Archer?
No, we want you.
Right
We
here.
want you to give you. Yeah, Archer's not going to be here today. I want you to give me the definition of success.
Oh yeah, when I was thinking success when this is posed to me, I would think it would be an alternative to any of these social media platforms out there.
But give me
No,
your
but
definition.
would it be profitable? Grimace, do you think if Trump made
Like someone
the
who was
question
actively
was,
competing.
would it be profitable? Would it be successful if he made one?
I have no idea. I don't think there's a reason to think he's a good businessman in the kind of way that he.
We
We
Going in
didn't
circles
ask you
here.
that.
You're going in
Is it?
circles.
So you saying yes?
Dumb.
Yes, he will be. So you admit yes, he will be successful.
Do you know how many props
You have to tell me what successful is, and then I can agree.
I'm asking
I
you.
know.
I'm asking you. I'm asking
I
you.
think they'll make money on it. Grimace. I
Making
think Trump will
profit.
make money.
Making profit.
Making money, is that really the only measure of success?
What is your measure?
only
Then
one.
you tell us.
One
Hold on,
Yeah.
Grimace. You do this shit, and it's
I
so
told
fucking
you mine.
funny.
Like, were they
Grimace, if your idea of success is it bigger than Facebook? It's so
Ah.
slow. And also,
Is that your definition, Grimace? Really? Is
We're
is
talking
Uh,
I hate.
alternative.
Hold on. I
to these platforms?
Trump's derangement
Wait,
syndrome.
wait.
I think it's cliche and stupid. But Grimace, if you don't think Trump is a good, successful businessman, it's fucking retarded. But more importantly, if you think that the idea of success is that Trump's new platform isn't as big as Facebook, a 16, 17-year-old company, maybe.
Yeah,
bigger,
that's really crazy, Grimace. Come on now, that's not even
I wouldn't
fair.
expect it to happen overnight. It has to go on a trajectory
tiresome,
towards
man.
that.
Yeah, that would be the goal, though. That's the goal.
Okay,
to put
no, okay,
everybody
no,
else
no,
in
no,
that
no, no.
business.
Ho, 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 ho.
Is that not your measure of success?
No.
I think
That's
what
not your measure of
Facebook.
success.
I think
Just tell
Facebook
me
is the fourth
what I
most-
need to agree or disagree with. You asked me, I gave you.
Facebook
Yes,
is I think the fourth most visited website in the whole entire planet. By the way,
What's number one? Is it Pornhub?
No, I think it's like number 10 actually.
No,
So
it's
it goes Google, then YouTube, and then there's either Instagram or Facebook are third and fourth, I believe.
Let me ask this in a different way.
Chinese.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Go
I
ahead,
think
Cat.
it's,
Cats. And before Cat say this, I got to ask Grimace
Let
this.
me.
Hold on. Grimace, what is the most difficult plant that you have mastered to grow with ease?
That mastered to grow with ease on my rubber tree. Probably.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
and my Monstera delicious.
Okay, so let's use the rubber
Oh, but
tree.
that's not really that difficult.
Okay, so rubber trees are difficult to grow, right? Okay. So You're saying that for me to be successful, I as soon as I open, I have to be at the same level you are in a nursery to grow rubber trees. Is
No,
that fair?
I'm not saying
So
that.
are you
guys
comparing?
and when I say that, I
Okay.
expect it to happen over time, not like he
Well-
releases it and it's just an alternative. I would
Okay,
expect
well
it to grow
then,
over
how about a 6 month? So give me
like
a
I
6
said,
month.
that's
Give me a
just my
6 month
metric. I
version.
thought that we were just talking.
Then measure it according to 6 months. Then, what is your definition of
6 months
success
is a
for
short
6
amount
months?
of time.
Okay, give it a year. What is your
Over
success
a
for a
6 month
year?
period, just
Yeah,
to
a 6
get
month
up there and have
period.
a growing user base.
So
fine.
it's
But
fair
like-
to
but
say
like that's
profitable,
just
yeah.
normal success. But I'm saying like I don't think there's any way in hell it will ever become like to grow to the size to be a competitor with these
What's
other.
the
massive
over-under after a year? What do you guys think? 10 mil?
Well,
Easily.
I have,
Go
Easily.
ahead, Cats.
I have a
Hold on.
question.
Go ahead, Cats.
so
They allow bots on.
Grimace, you
Mike?
would agree that there are millions of hardcore MAGA people, right?
Yeah.
So if even a fraction of them used whatever this new Trump platform is, there will be hundreds of thousands, possibly even millions of people, right?
I agree. If this is your measurement for success, I'll agree with you. Yeah, sure, that's successful.
Because in the tech sphere, success is very relative. I mean, Minds, you could call it
this is subjective.
You could call Minds. Do you think Minds is a failure?
I don't
Do you
think he
the
knows
Puffin
about
browser
Minds.
Is a failure.
I don't think he knows
think
about
Ask
mine.
No,
Jeeves
I-
is a failure.
No, he works in the tech sector. He knows about this stuff.
Okay, go ahead, Grimace. Answer his question.
No, not really mine. No, I mean, I agree with you. If that's your measure
it
for success, I
exists,
can agree.
like-
The
Yeah.
term success
no.
here, we're just
Yeah,
using
move
it.
on.
Anything of having something that's functional. If people use a platform like more than 3 or 4 people, then and if it makes a profit, God forbid, then it's at least a success at what it was trying to do. I mean, I think we all know that there will never be another YouTube. There will never be another Google Chrome. There will never be another Google. But there will be alternative platforms, and they are successful if people use them.
Yeah, here's the problem, and it's something I wanted to bring up earlier. It's the idea of a natural monopoly. So I think Eric Weinstein was talking about this a while ago, but take the keyboards you have in front of you, the QWERTY keyboards, right? So I think a lot of people probably know that these were developed back in the time of typewriters to be slow on purpose, and so typewriters wouldn't jam, right? So these things are slow on purpose, and the question is, why do we have them now when we don't have any jamming problems, right? Because there's other keyboard configurations that can double typing speed. Right, but the problem is that these keyboards are so ingrained everywhere we look through computers that we literally cannot switch from it because everyone uses it. So this comes out of market forces because now we can't go and use something that's better because everyone's using this. We all have to switch at the exact same time. So the issue is with Google or with YouTube. And YouTube, you can have other platforms like it, but once you get past a certain size and everyone's using it, there's really there's no benefit to you to go to another site. Right, and so once you get to past a certain size, I know a lot of people go, "Oh, well, MySpace. MySpace wasn't that big." Google has, I was looking at the visualizations a second ago. We were talking about it. Has 3 times as much views as YouTube, and then after that, would be Facebook, and then Instagram. After that, it endorses every other website on the face of the planet. Right, that's how big these things are. So they're not ever going to go away, just like these keyboards are stupid. They're not going away because everyone uses it. Why would you go to the site other than Twitter if no one's on that site?
And wait, real
We're
quick.
talking about-
What are we arguing here?
Yeah, just so we know, Microsoft used to have a giant monopoly on for instance, on browsers with Internet Explorer.
Well, and so that was so I'm differentiating
And
between.
Chrome had a huge market share, and it's been shrinking to Firefox.
I'm not necessarily arguing, but I'm saying that I think there's a difference between a natural monopoly and a monopoly. How Microsoft had, and what some of the tech companies are doing now are also actual monopolies, because what they're doing is, if I have Internet Explorer on my computer, I can't use anything else, right? Or if I'm Google phones and I'm banning other platforms, I own subsidiaries, something like that.
But
then you are having
but-
monopolistic practices.
The difference is, back in the day, a monopoly didn't have the technology that Google has to shut down competition in a way that, let's say I make a fantastic app. It's garnishing billions of views a day. All Google has to do is snap its fingers and it's done. It's a monopoly.
No,
It's a monopoly.
There's a contract that you signed.
But wait, hold on, Grimace. More importantly, this is a sideshow. This is a side topic. Let's talk about something fucking interesting. This is it's boring. We've talked.
I'm just saying, if nobody's snapping fingers, like these people want money. If this is going to be a successful platform, they're going to have to pay more in server costs.
If I could just make one more point, the reason why this is an issue is because Google as a tech company is different than other companies. Like if you're a soda company, you have a monopoly, and you're battling other soda companies. People don't want to drink soda, right? Google controls information, so we can't allow one company or the national monopoly to dominate the sphere of information because the free market depends on information. Democracy depends on information. And so we do need to regulate companies, even if they don't have actual monopolistic practices, if they're a national monopoly, because we can't allow them to control the sphere of information, which is a common good to all of us.
There was the Linus Tech video, I think it was Linus anyway, where they tried to make a phone or some sort of computer that was programmed to not use any kind of Google service. It couldn't access the internet. It didn't work. Like there are some, if you exclude Apple, Facebook, and Amazon and Google, you can't use the internet. I think maybe I can't even come up with an example. They all use there is like, it's like Russia with the oligarchs. Like so, Grimace, like I'll say this about you. Like I think that you are more on our side than you'd like to admit, but sometimes you kind of resort to a.
That's just going over government regulation. I think you're more on my side.
You that's what I've been talking about, Grimace. Is that when we talk regulation, you go, so regulation. No, it's one little thing. We're not absolutists here and saying free market all the way. Conservatives. We can say this is one area of information that should definitely be regulated.
This is what I
would say about company.
If I say one thing about Grimace that should be remembered, like you remind me most of a major literary figure, and that would be Cardinal Richelieu. You are much smarter than sometimes you appear, and you are very aware of how to manipulate people around you to make sure that the debate
yes, he's real good at that.
Maybe it's natural. I'm wondering how you.
Oh my god!
How can people have that capacity to make these decisions during these discussions to try to gaslight?
I see you. You're like CIA level manipulative.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
We make a dangerous ass Secret Service dude.
Go over and announce one of these debates with me, so I can understand.
So you guys, but hold on, before we go into the living wage, because we're not going to talk about conservatism because Archer's not here, but we can go into living wage. But before I even put
about conservatism, if Archer was here, that would upset him.
Yeah, we can't do that. So
Archer would just be on Grimace's side anyway. So
well, he needs
Grimace is more conservative than Archer at this point. I'm just gonna say, I'm sorry.
That is right. Grimace makes Archer look like Chairman Mao.
Grimace, are you for the $25 minimum living wage or the $15 one? Before I issue out the question.
I'm more for like an 11 or a 10. It seems like we have.
You're taking Joe Minchin's
He's JP Morgan now.
It's pretty clear. It needs to be.
Really, that's where you live? Right? Grimace, isn't it like $20 where you live?
I think it's like 15 or 16 in Seattle, but I don't live in Seattle. I live in the rural outskirts.
Oh, good for you.
What did you say, BJ?
If I could bring up the most important distinction here. Why are we talking about federal minimum wage when every state is different, every city is different?
There you go.
If you want to make a $15 minimum wage in New York City, go ahead. But if you want to make that in another place, it's going to destroy all the jobs. And so we say $10 or $11. Like no, let the states decide, or let the local. I don't want a minimum wage at all, or let the localities decide what the minimum wage should be, not the federal.
I agree. And we should be pushing these our federal leadership should be pushing the local states at the very least to implement their own minimum wages. I think like more than half the states have their own minimum wage. But we need an absolute minimum. So like some rogue state,
we have
South Dakota or something, using labor. Like we have to have the barest possible minimum where it isn't exploited. That we can guarantee at the lowest possible.
We already have one.
Grimace, did you say South Dakota?
Yeah, I just made up a state.
Instead
It
of
was
rogue
just a.
state like South Dakota, who has
Sorry.
in
If
the
state went rogue, that's what I should have said.
I'm for a federal minimum wage, absolutely, for any company that makes over $100 billion a year. Other than that, West Virginia, Ohio, and anyone else, states decide. But if you're Amazon, if you're Google,
should this minimum wage apply to when it comes to children? That's not children, like teenagers, 16, 17, 15 years old. Should they be able to work for less in order to have a summer job or something in a very unskilled area?
And BJ, can I ask you a question?
That was the question.
Wait.
My question.
Wait, hold on. I'm questioning your goddamn question. BJ, can you please explain to me why Google, Amazon, Apple, and all these gigantic companies are pushing for a federal minimum wage? Maybe you could explain it to Grimace.
Because it doesn't apply to them. That's why they're getting their jobs at a much higher level, and they're getting a lot of their employees from India. But even if you get or from China, even if you get them from India, you're still going to pay them more than minimum wage because the tech jobs are doing. Exactly. And so again, like this is a lot of liberal policy when it comes to, hey, I'm going to push this issue that has nothing to do with me, right? I live in a very white segregated area, but I'm going to talk about integration of public schools, racial integration, right? Well, it's not going to matter to you if you're so far removed from it, right? Like liberal ideology is about what you guys should do, not necessarily what we should be doing over here.
Plus, if I'm Amazon and I'm in Ohio, these fucking small little stores that provide the goods that Amazon warehouses provide, I can pay federally $15 minimum wage if I'm Amazon in West Virginia, in Ohio, where the average wage is below $40,000 a year. So we're like, yeah, good. Put in a federal minimum wage. That's great because we'll put all these mom and pops right the fuck out of business, and then we'll replace most of you with computers. Fantastic.
What was your policy? Hold on. I want to hear Grimace's since hold on. I want to hear Grimace and Tripp's policies on their minimum wage, and since they're the minority here, so let's start up with Tripp. You go first, and then.
Minority?
All right.
No, minority as far as the political beliefs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm white passing. So if I think it's a little too late to get rid of the minimum wage in this country. I see a benefit for getting rid of it. However, we have too many people, and I just see maybe abuses coming into play if it were to be abolished. However, I also don't know if raising it to $15 an hour is the right move, especially since that's more than doubling a lot of states. I think it's 7 states right now have a $7.25. Some have exemptions, like yours, for example. But if it's like a federal labor act, something like that. If they're non-exempt, then they have to pay $7.25 mandatory federally. But if we just double that overnight, a lot of people who can't pay them are going to go out of business. Like think about a restaurant that employs like 5 people, and some of them are just like their family. They do that so they don't have to pay them. You know what I mean? And like they're okay with it because this is our business. But then if you have to hire 3 people, and you're going to have to fire one of them if you want to stay in business. So I don't think it should move at all. I think it should be up to the states. I don't like that some people aren't paid a lot of money, but vote for it. It should be in your state because it costs a different amount of money to live in Arkansas than it does in California.
Is it Grimace's turn, or can I say something?
It's Grimace, your turn.
We didn't hear that. You were cut off.
Go ahead, Grimace.
Oh, I said it was Grimace's turn.
Why not $50 minimum wage?
No, come on. Grimace. Let him talk. Go ahead, Grimace.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about minimum wage. We want to make sure we don't have like a negative impact on the economy. Like if we have a really high minimum wage, we're going to affect small businesses and just power out like power up Walmarts and places like that because they can afford stuff like that. Although like there's some loopholes that they abuse as far as like welfare and things like that to subsidize their
see that
employment.
point right there shows that Grimace is not your typical ultra leftist because
I agree with everything you just said.
Small businesses.
Everything you just said is true.
Yeah, right. So what we need a federal minimum wage for is for like I said, like the absolute bottom, kind of like how we know how big companies use immigrants. Yeah, and it's continually been raised since it was first implemented. It just needs to get another raise.
$8. Where's the $8?
Or $11. It's been the longest period, I think, for a while before it hasn't been.
I have a proposal.
Raised.
What if we raised it at the rate of inflation? Like, hey guys, it's gonna go
Oh,
up 1% every
crazy.
year.
No, we'd all
okay, then let's not raise it.
So here's my concerns with raising minimum wage. So like Trip brought this up, and a lot of people bring this up about, okay, this would be job loss, this would be automation, right? McDonald's is go and automate their cashiers, blah blah blah.
I didn't bring up automation.
But I'm saying the general idea of job loss from that, right? People can't afford it, especially small businesses. That's what I meant. Like, there's other separate issue is this. And so I have a friend who he works as an EMT. And I think they make a lot less than you might think. I think he makes like 17 or 18 bucks per hour. But you take any job, he has to have some sort of education, go through a process, work hard, and you make a little bit more than $15 per hour. Why on earth? We provided such a bad disincentive. Why would I study to work hard to be an EMT, make 17 or 18 bucks per hour, when I could work at Walmart and make $15 per hour? When you raise the wages of the minimum wage like that, you can disincentivize people from taking on jobs, right? And so then those people are not going to even want to go ahead in that because they have this easy fallback option. Whenever the government tries to get involved, there's always side effects, and people never want to consider the side effects. Let's look at the one metric. There's all these different things that can happen when you introduce the minimum wage.
And Falix, Trip, and Katz brought up this problem of lobbyists. The people lobbying the government for this federal minimum wage are the people that will benefit most from it. The federal minimum wage benefits nobody but the upper echelon of society. All goods, all services, gasoline, all groceries will go up if there's a federal minimum wage. The gigantic corporations will overwhelm the middle class and lower class businesses, take them over. That's what happens. This federal minimum wage thing,
the lower end ones will be crushed overnight. They don't even have to compete.
Exactly.
It's by nature of having to pay people, they'll just be crushed automatically. I was part of a company that they paid us $50 a day to work with kids in summer camp. Okay, $50 a day. And the next year they decided, well, I mean, every subsequent year you work there, you get a $5 raise per day. All summer, we knew, all right, $50, I'm agree to it. I'm 18, I'll take the money. The next year they decided the base pay was going to be $55 a day. So the people who came in next year started making $55 a day in their first year. Me in my second year, I made $55 a day like I agreed to. So, that was in my contract. I agreed to it and whatever. But it's still a little weird that I had more experience than the person that I was teaching to do the job, and I was getting paid the same amount as them. So that's like if someone's making $7.25 now to wait on tables, and I get it, tips are a different thing. It's just an example. And then you up them to $15 an hour, they're making as much as managers are making.
Right.
So
and
they're going to just raise the manager's salary too? Maybe some companies will.
That's the third problem is that, okay, now once you raise the minimum wage, then all the people in the company who got, paid a little bit more, they're not going to get their wages increased, right?
Why would they pay them more just to pay them more?
Exactly. This high threshold, you're going to have people who you're not going to really be able to increase that much after that point. And so you're not rewarded for seniority, not rewarded for experience, but to hire these people right off the bat at almost the same wage as you.
And that's the point. It de-incentivizes work. It de-incentivizes you to try to achieve things more for the company. It's the minimum wage. By the way, 15 is such an arbitrary number. They pulled that out of their ass. They claim that there's an equation with inflation, and it's not.
Well, what it is, if you pay $15 per hour times 40 hours per week times 52 weeks a year, you get about the average salary in America. So you want to bring the bottom up to the average, but what's going to happen is there's only a certain amount of money.
And bread costs more.
Right above the
average.
More. That's true. And then anyone above the average is slightly shipped down as well because companies can't afford to pay everyone at the crazy rates.
During the pandemic, Pennsylvania is what's called a Quaker state. I think we're the only. We're a Commonwealth. And when the pandemic hit, they stopped. We can only buy liquor, like hard liquor, from Wine and Spirits, the liquor store. We can't get it anywhere else. They shut them all down. So we all had to go to West Virginia or Ohio to get booze. And so I went down there to Ohio to get booze. And I went there, and these people were, I don't know what they were making, But if you were to tell the businesses that I went down to get booze that they now had to pay their employees $15 an hour, no, no.
So
Everyone's out of a fucking job.
We all want people to make more money, but the problem is whenever government gets involved, there's a lot of horrible side effects. And so we want it to happen naturally. When we talked about before when it comes to immigration, we don't want people coming in and lowering and creating an oversupply of labor, which naturally lowers the price of the wages of those people who are already in the country, right? So if there's like, even if I can say something a little bit liberal, like something way better minimum wage would be part of the welfare state is to provide job training programs. That's what happened since the 70s. That have been super successful. But if that could be something that would help nationally boost people's wages because they get higher skills, right? Even that would be better than minimum wage. But minimum wage has so many side effects that people who want it aren't considering. There's a lot of ways to boost
minimum wage.
the side effect. We literally just went over all of them, but I'll give you the three we talked about. So we talked about job loss, and that could be business can't afford it.
Currently. Like the $7.25. Like, what's the side effect of that?
It's equal out right now.
I mean, the problem with the question is that we don't know, because when it comes to 7% minimum wage, we don't know what jobs would have been created if it was $5 per hour, for example. Maybe it'd be more summer camp counts. Maybe it's other people in low wage areas, right? When it comes to race,
we have a pretty good economy right now with a pretty low unemployment rate. Like,
but it doesn't mean it can't be better, right? Like you always say, look, instead of 25 minimum wage, we're not living in a disaster. Well, we don't know what it would be like if we didn't have that. We might have a lot more jobs that 16, 17-year-olds get into, start getting some experience at things. We might have it $5 per hour, but we don't know because we've had it for so long.
I have a good example for this. Like, as a Californian, I can tell you something that happened very recently. I forget what the exact proposition number was, but there was a proposition.
Assembly Bill 5. You're talking about Assembly Bill 5.
Probably. Where they tried to
contractor one?
The right answer?
Yes. Where they tried
that
where they
fucked everyone.
Yeah. So it was defeated because it was a goal. The goal was to make Uber drivers, barbers, anyone whose job was based on working for less than other people, to make them so expensive that the businesses that wanted to use them couldn't use them. So
no, that passed. Cats, that passed.
No,
Assembly Bill 5 passed.
Well, okay, maybe
Or are you talking about the one just for Uber drivers that was just on the ballot?
I might be talking about, so I don't, like I said, I don't remember the exact number, but the Uber bill was defeated, and I know that it applied broadly also to a lot of other people that worked in industries that specifically their jobs were predicated on being independent contractors and being cheaper, because it came down to a fundamental conflict. These are people that didn't see themselves as employees of bigger companies. They didn't want to have the benefits and the whole package of being part of a larger company. No one wanted Uber to go up. Not the Uber drivers, not the people that use Uber, because the whole reason Uber works is because it's cheap. If it's not cheap, it's useless.
You need to give people the freedom to contract with one another and not have the government interfere.
Yeah,
I will add on to that and say everything Kat said is true. I was talking about a different thing, Assembly Bill 5, that basically made people overnight independent contractors. A bunch of journalists lost their jobs in California because even out of state they couldn't write more than, I think it was 5 articles per week. Some of them did that in a day, so their job was just over. No one hires independent contractors from California anymore. The camp I worked at, they had to start hiring the parents of the kids who were at the camp, because they could not afford to pay the people enough money to pay them, because it's like basically 23 hours a day that you're working, even when you're asleep, you're on duty. But everyone was an independent contractor. So now we got to hire parents instead of people that we would normally hire that are 18, 19 years old who will work for such and such hours a day on the name of it is like the Alternative Work Week Schedule Act or something like that. But it ruined the company. It made it so that the childcare workers were just the parents that everyone was trying to get away from in the first place.
And I think this kind of...
You can't make people independent contractors. You can't legislate this stuff as well as, a state can do it on their own. And California is a great example of how a state can fuck up.
As a moderate liberal, well, I mean, my position is that people should have the freedom to contract with one another, and the government should get out of the way. Is that an unfair...
Are you a moderate liberal?
I said you said you're a moderate liberal. I thought you said or
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, I thought you were saying you were. I am.
I'm extremely far right.
I'm having trouble hearing everybody.
Trip,
I'm having trouble hearing everybody.
Trip. What you're
wait, Bear.
the Uber thing. The Uber thing was Prop 22 when they
Was that
Yes.
yeah Prop 22, and yes,
Right.
that's what you're talking about. Prop 22. Yeah,
Yeah, the taxi driver
ended up happening.
definitely against it.
Here's the thing, Trip. You're right, and Cats, you're 100% spot on. But Trip, what you're talking about with the taxi drivers, the unionized taxi drivers were getting fucking crushed. Almost every major taxi company was going out of business in California, and so Prop 22 was going to make it so that Uber drivers were now going to get benefits, all sorts of things, an hourly wage, and Uber threatened to leave. They're like, we will not work in your state. We will leave. We'll pick up and move. And California ended up, even though it was voted on, backed heavily by the taxi driver unions, the big state unions. Eventually, they were like, all right, fuck it. We can't afford to lose $800 million a year. And so they backed off of it. But that's what this shit is. It's all the unions. The unions have lobbyists. Independent contractors don't. The great thing about driving Uber, and I don't drive Uber, but I've taken many, is that you can make your own hours. You get to, do your own thing. And no Uber driver was saying, we want to unionize. We want benefits in a minimum wage. They wanted to do their own thing, but the state and the unions wanted to take a fucking piece of their tax revenue
and fix their hours and everything, and it would have been terrible.
Fix their hours,
and our Uber costs would have gone up, and they would have not gotten what they wanted.
Okay. I'm bored of this. This is boring. Grimace. Should we agree that Biden is too old and should retire since he can't walk up a flight of steps?
I don't know if he's too old and should retire unless you guys want Senator Harris in there or Vice President Harris.
I mean, at this moment, I would.
Don't retire.
She's going to get it anyway. You don't believe?
Just use 25 on him.
That's the best argument I've ever heard Grimace make before.
So they're gonna fucking with 25 anyway. So
yeah. No, I just wanted to finish up one quick point.
Go ahead.
What did you guys think of child labor during the industrial period?
Terrible.
Where
kids lost their fingers. That's awful.
Children. Yeah. So the government should step in situations like that, right?
But no one's saying they shouldn't. That's a clear example when they should.
Yeah.
Okay. So we also know that there are current companies in the United States or corporations that abuse illegal immigrants because they can pay them
in
less,
jail.
Right?
You can't treat workers like that.
So what I'm trying to highlight is that the government's role here is to make sure that their citizens aren't taken advantage of because they're stuck in these areas and there's not that many job opportunities. We need to make sure that
that's what the lobbyists really want.
When it comes to government intervention, we're not absolutely this. We want the government
minimum wage that alleviates exploitation. That's
we want the government not to interfere with relationships between adults. Consensual transactions, right? It comes illegal between citizens. When it comes to illegals, that they're not citizens, they're children, they're not adults. But all of our laws apply to adults who are consensually making transactions with one another. That's what the government should not be jumping in to interfere. The examples you gave are exploitation of children and exploitation of really, I mean, again, you would say the illegal immigrants, I would say our working class. Right? Either way, this doesn't apply here. Our distinction, we're not absolutists.
Sure.
The government should never do anything.
No.
I heard it.
But there's also agreements that have to be met. Yeah, like nobody's signing up for a company knowing that these different businesses aren't following regulations because for upkeeping their equipment, for instance, and they could easily go into situations that they're not realizing that they're being exploited, that they're being exposed to danger, and that in reality, a company like this should be at least providing this for them because to live in this country, you need this.
Some workers say
money.
To us.
Yeah, any kind of business regulation.
But the ideology behind that is to say if businesses aren't disclosing that information, you should make them disclose it. And if they're not disclosing it, you should be able to provide them workers' comp, things like that. Because you don't have the information to get entry into the transaction, so you're not actually consensually entering into a transaction without all the right information. That's the
Sure,
idea
but
behind
how would you like phrase it to somebody like, yeah, this company is taking advantage of the fact that you're stuck in this town and that they know they can pay you like a below living wage because you'll go on welfare or something like that.
Well, you call it taking advantage. I don't really see how that's getting a good deal for them, but they're not doing anything against their will. They're giving them all the information they need. Right? It's like they're not hoodwinking them. So like, I don't
so there are people.
Grimace, the argument
So somebody should be taking advantage of
minimum
people,
wage. Can you make that that's what we're talking about? Can you make the argument for a federal, not a state, a federal minimum wage?
Yeah. I just said because like the states, we don't guarantee states.
So
are
New
pass
York
like
and
that, right?
Ohio should pay the same amount, right? That's what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm
That-
saying
A
states
federal
can set their own minimum
bond.
wage. Listen,
What
guys,
do you mean,
states
state,
can set their
Grimace?
own minimum wage, but the reason we need a federal minimum wage is to prevent exploitation. So like it should be much lower. Like it should be like much lower than say the minimum wage that's required for like New York or California.
I think you're exploitation. You're talking about
That's the reason we have a minimum.
Federal means entire country. It's not states. Federal.
So
But what I'm saying, it has to account for like the very
But
minimum.
that's
as far as
not
it
what
goes
you're
for wages,
arguing
right?
for. You're arguing for a federal minimum wage, which would be
So Grimace did say Grimace did say I'll defend you here. Grimace said there should be a bottom, right? And so I think he said $10 or $11,
10 or
something like
11.
that. And then maybe he would like to see it 15 different places, but that should be a federal. He understands that the federal government should not be in the business of regulating everyone at the same time, which is a conservative position. So I like that. I wouldn't agree to having any of it, but at least it's better than setting it so high across all places, right? So you're saying low minimum, and then states should do more than that if they can.
Is that what we have?
Yeah, if they can, then
that's my
I
point.
mean, we can let these states make bad decisions if they
But isn't
want.
there a problem with that? Because then the people who stock the shelves at these places where you might be able to afford this now because you have your $10 or $11 minimum wage. Now you can afford the nicer shirt at Macy's instead of having to shop at fucking Kohl's
Walmart.
or whatever it is, right? The people that or Walmart, there you go, perfect. And the people who stock those things now, you got to pay them more, so this price of the shirt goes up. So it doesn't really help at all. Even if it goes up like a couple bucks, like to $10, it doesn't really help.
This is all irrelevant.
And also in states where it doesn't go up because the federal minimum wage will be lower than what the state minimum wage is, it doesn't do anything. So you're not really helping anybody anyway. It's a virtue signal.
exactly.
It's all irrelevant because all minimum wage jobs will be replaced by robots within 10 years, I would say, at the way things are going. Like if you
Not
work
the
at
health and
Starbucks,
sex industry, it won't.
McDonald's. Okay, yeah, no. So like
That's
there
true.
are some industries that'll be excluded.
They got
Yeah,
some
no,
really
but
good
but if you make
things over there on
coffee,
Anatomy.com.
if you make coffee, if you stock shelves, if you flip burgers,
Yeah.
like if you do something that is realistically plausible, like by algorithms, and it's all doable now, then you're screwed. You can make the federal minimum wage could be $100 an hour for all that matters because eventually almost everyone will be out of work. You can call it a conspiracy theory if you want, but if you're watching technology, trust me, big businesses are very aware of what machines can do. And very soon, very few of us will have anything to do.
Cats,
Yeah, but that's if you're low skilled.
But it's literally my life. Wait, real quick. The only reason I'm alive right now financially is because the unions are trash. They have a minimum wage, and the wage is way too fucking high. And they know that for every hour they sit the fuck around and do nothing, they get paid.
Like the
reason
teachers.
Our company.
Yes, I was just about to thank you. Fucking public school, do not get me started.
Wait, hold on, wait. In
Go ahead.
Trip and Tree. Do you know that in Pennsylvania, 96% of our public schools are financially sound, yet we're getting $5 million, despite being closed, extra than last year, despite being financially sound. That's what the unions do. The only reason that we get to fucking work is because these minimum wage, these mandated wages, is because we work for our fucking living. We don't
That's your
set a
money.
minimum wage, and
Okay.
people don't want this unionized.
So we're bringing up reasons why a minimum wage has these adverse side effects. But Grimace, like, I'm very sympathetic to wanting minimum wage because I do think it will provide. I'm going to disagree with Trip. Like, it will provide a benefit to people on lower income levels because yes, the price of goods will go up, but the price you get paid will give you more, right? But there are obviously the issues of job loss that actually might hurt them more. Right, but I think one of the other big side effects that has been happening in the past 40 years, not only because of minimum wage, but this will accelerate it, is the outsourcing of jobs. So I want to get your opinion on outsourcing because if a factory worker here costs $10 per hour minimum wage, and then it goes to 15, and you go, shoot, I'm going to go. Listen, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm going to jump ship to China because they can do it for $2 per hour.
That's a worse
Like-
problem than automation also. Because automation, you always need to have, and this comes back to my point of specialization. You still always need someone to regulate the automation, build the machine, to program the machine. There will be people to take the place of those that are replaced, but it will be at a higher echelon of education and specialization. But the people they ship the jobs over somewhere else.
No,
That's the
everyone.
biggest point.
Okay,
So Grimace, don't you think that the higher minimum wage?
Sorry,
go ahead, Grimace.
yeah, sorry. I want to kind of address initially what Jupiter said. Jupiter said that there had an issue with laborers like driving up minimum wage, but like according to what you were saying earlier, a Big Bad Bear Jew, is that this is like a contract between the business, like an agreement between a business
It's not the free
and its
market.
workers.
No,
It seems like
it's
a
not
labor
the free market. If they're a
labor
lobbyist
bargaining against the company
talking to our
So,
to up their wages,
No,
right?
this is
To up their wages, like you were talking about. Big Bad, sorry, Jupiter seems to be in
No,
conflict
not.
with you.
What?
No, because I was saying the difference between public unions and private unions. So public unions that work like to do like road work for the state, or public unions that like school teachers, they have an unfair bargaining because they're bargaining. The people bargaining against are taxpayers, and the government's going to throw money at them. That's why public school teachers make so much money in big city Democratic areas, right? There's a big difference between public and private unions are completely fine, but public unions are the ones who are negotiating, and it's not a consensual transaction because the taxpayers can't negotiate. Our representatives are; they don't give a fuck about us, so we're not able to negotiate and say this is how much we want to pay our public school teachers.
They want your votes.
Yeah, they're taking our
But,
fucking money
sorry,
to give it to people who aren't us. That's the problem with like public teachers union. It's our money, and we don't even get to say what happens to it.
Or if I have to pay taxes for schools, and I don't have children. and I have
Oh
children.
yes,
If I
that's
point
what
my
I
camera
can't
out
stand.
this way, I'll
Oh!
go fucking school. I don't have kids. I gotta
You guys
go.
decided how your money was spent when you elected your representatives.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't vote for
elected
him.
people who have your fucking views. That's
Well,
Yeah, but then they have to deal with these fucking. They have to deal with these unions, and then the unions just ask for whatever they want, and they'll get it. Oh, you don't care about teachers? They get whatever they want, and they sit on their ass. Do you know in public school right now the kids don't even have to go on Zoom? Do you know their grades can't even go down? Did you know
But
that? And they get fucking paid twice
Yeah,
as much as we do.
That's because public unions are bad. Private unions are okay. They're fine.
Yes,
but the public
thank you.
ones are the unfair
Yeah.
bargaining power.
Collective bargaining is very important, but if you do it at the expense of the taxpayer instead of the company that's actually paying you, that's the problem.
That's it. That's it right there. That is what it is.
Thank you.
I'm paying
So
for it.
you don't.
If
So you don't
have
want
collective
people.
bargain in your private company, great, good for you. You deserve it. Don't charge me for it. That's the
Yeah.
difference. I'm
I
not.
don't think Grimace said that, but I'm just
but
That's the implication. That's the implication. I think you agree.
What was the implication? Make sure I can.
I think he believes it.
The implication of what you're saying about
I was trying to get it against Big Bad Bear Jew. I didn't hear your point. Sorry.
Oh, I think when we were talking earlier, I want to differentiate between public and private because I think you were conflating the two, and that's why I want to make that. It's an important distinction.
Oh, okay.
So, and the union you were talking about, Jupiter, before was a public union.
Yeah, multiple public unions and the teachers' unions are raping this country in California
and not teaching the kids.
and not teaching the kids.
Okay, no.
They literally put out a
So
press
do
release.
people have no bargaining power? That's my question. Is do these people have no, like, people want to be teachers, people want to be policemen, people want to be firemen? They should have
They should
no
have bargaining power,
power.
but it shouldn't be our
should have
money
a
that they're dealing with. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't
I have-
be.
No,
we shouldn't be
the
able to
police
control
union is
it.
private.
I
Grimace.
have something to say about this. Like, these people that have essential jobs, yes, they should have collective bargaining. But most of these jobs, you can't opt out of the union. you have to pay
That's
dues.
fucked up.
And so if they,
because the union like forged out an
Yeah,
agreement,
which is
with
fucked up, they should be have the choice
Cass,
of being in a
we did
union
an
or not.
episode about this.
Oh,
Tell them about the
that's not-
voting thing with unions, where they make you vote a certain way. They're
Yeah,
allowed to see who you vote for.
When you have mandatory union membership, they collect, you have, in order to have your job, they will collect a certain amount of your money, regardless whether you want to or not. You have no choice. And like the leadership is very opaque. So like they will tell you what to vote for, they will tell you what we're spending your money on. So I mean, yeah, as an individual citizen, you can vote however you want, I suppose. But the union is telling everyone with your money at your meetings that you pay for, you will vote this way. This is where we're spending our money. So
Yeah.
yes.
And then they told you vote for Biden, and then your Ford plant gets shipped off to Mexico. And a bunch of them. Didn't this happen like this week? And then a bunch of people were like, "Hey, that's my job. What the fuck?" And he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, we told you to vote for it, but it's not our job. That's fuck. We get to stay in our union, get to keep telling you what to do and who to vote for, and then you get to, you get to not be paid or you lose your job for it."
And Trip, the union bosses got a little,
Of course.
But the rest of the people are like, wait, you told me
They keep their job. They're negotiators. Like, come on, man, negotiate your own price. How much? Do you know how much you're worth? Go into the boss and tell them I'm worth this much. Pay me this much, or I'm going to quit and find another job. And but here's the thing about that: not everybody's skilled enough or smart enough to do that, and that's the problem. That's why I think unions are important on some level, and collective bargaining is important, especially in lower wage fields. I think it is important, but don't do it on our tax dollars, because then you can ask for whatever you want. And that's another problem with things like free education. Like, oh, okay, we'll just charge you whatever we want. Everyone has to do it, so they'll go do it. It's a product that people are going to buy, and then we pay for it. Free college. Get the hell out of here.
By the way, can I make a quick point about, because I think my point earlier kind of confused people about lobbyists, but this is a good example, is that when you have a very powerful interest of the teachers union lobbying, then you're not going to have voucher programs or other programs that can potentially compete with them, right?
Yep.
These programs that could be good for people, but you have these powerful interests. Not enough people care about it enough to be able to fight these powerful interests, and then the lobbyists on the teachers union side, which is fucking enormous, win. So we don't get other alternatives to public school education, which is complete shit.
And they still complain about how little money they make. They make twice as much as private school, twice as much as private school educators. Private school tuition costs half as much as it costs for a public school to educate a kid, and they do twice as good of a job at private school.
The reason why they make twice as much, by the way, is because there's not enough people who could go to those private schools in the first place because of disincentives. And so then now there's less of a profit model built to pay the teachers who are not in the public schools as well. So that's an issue.
I told you guys, I said don't get me started.
Cats.
So I know that this topic was abandoned, but it segued itself into relevance. Like, what does it mean to be conservative? It means that you believe that the individual should choose. You should be able to choose whether you belong to a union at your job or not. You should be able to choose whether.
That's a libertarian perspective.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
or classical liberal.
That's kind of like an American.
I wouldn't. Would that really be classical liberal? Really?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm a liberal. That's what I believe in. Individuality.
Classical liberal. Yeah.
How are you people going to talk about conservatism when Archer, the arbiter of all conservatism?
Yeah, he's not here to defend himself.
He's not here to talk about. Something must have happened because Archer always comes. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
I truly believe that is the.
Save the subject for next time.
Yeah. I truly believe that is like what really define. If you have to choose one thing that separates a liberal from a conservative, is that the liberal believes that the strongest unit of society is the community, the collective. The conservative believes that the strongest unit of society is the individual. That is where it starts.
Yeah, I don't think that's liberal though. You're thinking of the collective. That's
why don't we have them tell? Okay, Grimace, what is liberal to you?
A liberal is somebody who believes in individualism, promoting the empowering different people to do whatever they want in life, and offering them the most opportunities to do whatever they want with this one life that they have. But the difference between like a liberal and like where a conservative or like a libertarian would differ is that the liberal acknowledges the fact that there are people born into circumstances and people who are in circumstances in general who don't have the same amount of opportunity as everybody else, and that we have a government that we pay for, and that we should use the government as the mediator for sorting out these inequalities of opportunity to make sure everybody gets the
so they
same
use
shot.
the individual as a lip service in order to use the collective.
Yeah.
The individual is what we care about, but it's really the collective that determines who is being disenfranchised. It's not the person who can decide whether they want to be a part of a union or not.
Wait, who was
the people? Well, you said like people. There are different equalities. Does the person determine whether they're being unequal, or is it the government official? Who determines that they are the ones that are being disadvantaged by the group? It's certainly not the individual.
No,
I can't decide whether I'm a part of a union if I work for certain positions, and that's not an individualistic perspective. That is inherently collectivistic.
Wait, so Katz, what are you saying? Where do you guys differ on your definition of liberal then?
I think that, well, okay, you know what? This is an internet problem. Liberal the word liberal is dead. Let's just admit this. Liberal is dead.
That's the biggest issue here.
Liberal is progressive. So let's just put that to death.
No.
Liberals
We're gonna be here a while.
Liberals are.
No, we're
at this
not.
point, if
We'd
you're
be
a
ending in
liberal
25 minutes exactly. Go ahead. Sorry,
if you are a liberal in the classical sense of an individualistic. Sorry, you're conservative now because the progressives ate you. There is no liberal anymore. The liberals are done.
I agree. So the whole thing about what Grimace said.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
The progressives, the collectivists have taken over what used to be the
Grimace.
liberals.
This isn't.
There are no liberals anymore.
I don't think the conservatives took us over. I think they came to our side.
No, the progressives ate you, and you are now part of the conservatives. You just don't acknowledge it yet because the progressives.
I'm going to come to an employment agreement with Grimace. So Grimace is right. The first couple things you said about individualism, that's just American ideals. It's not. But you're right though that liberals care more about the opportunity that people have, right? And this has been classical liberalism for a long time, right? And so I agree with Arcad's Gay because that type of classical liberalism that people have is not prevalent in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is not about opportunities; it's about outcomes, right? And they separate people not by individuals, but as racial groups, and they say, no, this is women, this is blacks, this is Hispanics, right? So all the things that you're talking about, which I agree with, that is classical liberalism, is not the Democratic Party. That's why you can't call the Democratic Party liberal. You call them leftist, progressive, woke, whatever you call them, right? The classical liberals are now the ones coming to Republicans, right? Because the Republican Party is much more open to classical liberal ideas than the Democratic Party is not. But I agree with the definition.
I've been harping about this for like the last year, right? That like moderate liberals are going to win the day, that they have to serve as the keystone to our democracy. We got to fight off the crazy ass conservatives on the right, and we got to fight off all the socialists trying to take over
crazy ass conservatives.
And we did.
We did over the last.
The liberals are.
Yeah, we got to.
When did we do that?
We won the. We got Joe Biden elected. You don't see Bernie Sanders up there talking about
Joe
season.
Biden is not
we don't know about that elected stuff.
Wait a minute. Tree, are you going to let him get away with this?
Unfortunately,
Joe Biden mentions race in every single opportunity he gets a chance to talk. He needs to reverse all of Trump's policies on immigration, right? Like Biden has not been acting very moderate so far. And he's not going to be acting moderate.
It's because of opportunity in the context of opportunity.
He just inserts it as a virtue signal. They
not
told him to talk about it.
Right? He wants the same outcomes, not the same opportunity.
You guys want to know about corn pop?
Joe Biden anything.
Grimace.
Retarded.
Blacks in this country don't have any less opportunity than whites at the same income level. They actually have more opportunity because of some programs such as affirmative action, right? So when it comes to opportunity, it has to do with income, right? Democrats could still go in and say, okay, the income is like we need to work with the working class. They don't do that anymore. They do race and sex shit now, and that's what separates liberals from progressives, right? Liberals, there's still a place for liberals in society. They're just not taking it.
Yeah,
that place is to help the working class.
Liberals aren't liberals. The way I would say it is, liberals are just the left who's not woke today, and I do think the Overton window has shifted to the left, and some would argue the opposite, but I
No,
generally
it's
just think
gotten
they're wrong.
extreme.
But
This data showing this.
It's
I think the window
basically
has just stretched in
divided
both
because
directions.
you have so many. When I look at YouTube and I look at Twitch, I see huge echo chambers. However, on the right, I see a huge influx of different types of right wingers. And so it's growing because of the
I was
fact that
never
that a
conservative.
lot of the people in the middle and the centrists have been canceled by the woke. So basically, they're coming on our side as vengeance.
Wait, Tree.
Yeah, well,
Tree.
I
Wait,
also-
hold on.
I wasn't finished.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so basically, I also heard Grimace say something like, "Oh, the Overton window is actually stretched." I would argue that it's actually gotten smaller and moved to the left because of the acceptable lines of thought now are not things like policy or economics. The acceptable lines of thought today are all social issues. It's woke or not, and the progressives have completely like gone off the rails. I used to be a progressive. I voted for Bernie in 2015 in the primaries. All right, and
Back
Archer
then, he
did
wasn't
too.
a
I'm
racial
pretty-
progressive. He was a
Right.
woke back then.
understand
He was
Archer
a-
was
Thank
too,
God.
and then he
That's
switched
disingenuous.
to Trump after that, after Bernie got, cheated. Funny also how people will. No, I won't talk about elections actually, but
Yeah,
But
please
Trip, when you
don't.
say, like it's all about this,
No,
like, how's it actually been enacted in any kind of way
Obviously.
besides like paying lip service?
what I'm saying is the Overton window is focused on things like social issues, and liberals today might call themselves liberals, they might call themselves Democrats, they might call themselves a bunch of different things. It's supposed to be shorthand, but it doesn't work because we have two major political parties, and if those political parties have 8 different types of people in them, because the Republicans now, if you vote Republican, you might be MAGA, you might be conservative, you might be mainstream Republican, you might be
George Bush
Republican,
ANCAP.
like
You also
bombing
might
kids.
because we
There
have a
you
lot of
go.
liberals who are voting
Libertarian,
Republicans.
Exactly. And then the liberal party, you might have communists because they would love to topple Joe Biden. It'd be way easier for them. You have communists, you have socialists, democratic socialists, social democrats. You've got liberals. You've got people who are more like left libertarian leaning. We only have 2 things to go by: liberal, conservative. It's hard to actually. We should have done this with Archer, but it's hard to actually say.
Yeah,
what it is.
I think something. He might have been sick.
Wait,
But I don't want us to get into this topic without him here, though.
point out now.
If I can make 2 points to what you guys were talking about. So when it comes to like has the left come left, right come right, it's pretty clear. Like even the New York Times put out information. This is kind of reflect a lot of places. The left has went very far to the left after 2016. The right stayed about the same, and it always confuses me when people talk about the far right. Trump had a lot of like left liberal issues. Like you never hear conservatives talk about tariffs and things like
He's
that.
a 90s
Or he talk
Democrat.
about parental leave. Exactly. So I don't understand when people say that he's going to the right, right? The other thing, and going to what you're talking about, Tripp, and I completely agree, is that the left now has completely abandoned economic liberal, like left, even progressive, whatever, woke.
They're putting all their eggs in one basket. It's all this
And
social stuff.
So there's a study that came out recently about the top concerns for Democrats and Republicans. Republicans were like job loss and like illegal immigration, that sort of thing. And China, whatever. And the left, I think the left, the 3 most were like white nationalism, Trump supporters, and racism.
Exactly.
Trump
like,
supporters was number 1 for them. They thought it was the major, most pressing issue for our country.
But then white nationalism and then racism. So they are not caring with the economic side. And if you look at all the issues, the only one that was slightly economic was healthcare. Like all the top 20 issues were all like climate change, LGBTQ stuff. They don't give a fuck with economic issues anymore because who runs the Democratic Party? It's all the elites right now.
And exactly, and Tripp, and to BJ's point about the Democrat Party being the elites, if Wall Street and every single big business, every single one is putting out Black Lives Matter or we support Antifa, blah, 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 then yes, you're on the side of the establishment. But I believe that right now we're in 3 camps. There's the far left, which is the progressive, basically communist, in my opinion. Then there is the right and anything past that. And then there is what I call the social liberals. And that's not classical liberal. It's the people that hated Donald Trump so much, have been fed by CNN and MSNBC all these fucking retarded talking points. And they have now aligned themselves with the far communist left because
not realizing the danger.
without
But
realizing the danger. And
but some social liberals wouldn't even consider themselves. Your definition of social liberal is different than a lot of social liberals would actually say.
You're right. You're right. I'm not saying it like that. What I'm saying is, I'm Jewish, and so a lot of my dad's friends, my friends, they're Democrats by birth, by birth. And when they see Trump, when they see me, when they see BJ, they say, "Oh, we're against that. We're liberals." They don't understand because the media they're being given about their side and the positions isn't true. The reason that they're still on the left is because they're being fed propaganda, but that number is dwindling by the day. But if you were to ask, and this is something that happened 2 days ago, Joe Biden falling up the stairs 3 times. My dad's friend Howard, one of his best friend, his best friend Howard, never even knew it happened. And his other friend, when we went out, his friend Joni said, "Oh, well, we were told it was very windy that day, blah, blah, blah." It was very light.
I want everybody to think about that statement. I want everybody to think about, like, nobody was even thinking about that, or had heard about that, because people are disengaging from politics because, like, a clear and present danger isn't there anymore.
Trump's not there. It's not trendy to be in politics anymore.
It's not just trendy, Trip. Like, there are real issues with Trump that people had a problem with.
But it was trendy this year.
They were most of them were unfounded, though.
He was constantly stoking fears in people,
No,
constantly trying
he
to get eyes on
wasn't.
him.
No.
Absolutely, he was. You look at his Twitter feed. He loved the shit. He was trying to and do whatever he could to divide the country every single.
What fear, Grimace? What fear was he installing?
What did he do?
I'm just saying, no surprise that people didn't know Biden, because people are fucking actually tired of politics. They're fucking happy that Trump's gone. They want to return to the life they had
One
at a time.
That's like someone who plays one
season in the
major
Wait, stop, Trip. Hold on, Trip, stop. Let BJ go talk, and then you go, Trip. Go ahead, BJ.
I'll say to what Grimace said, that's a horrible thing for people to be disengaged from politics, because what happened was, over the past 4 years, the left went haywire with anxiety, and when Trump got elected, like, oh my God, we're all going to die, gays will be executed, black people will be slaves again, and then 4 years of anxiety, every little thing, that's white supremacy, that's this, and they're all going crazy, and then now nothing happened, they go, oh my God, now I can, like, calm down, and I can get away from all of it, and that's what CNN has for viewers. Yes, and so now that it works so much, and the thing is trying to replicate, right? Capitol riots, months of coverage, right? And so all that anxiety they had, they can finally walk away from at least a little bit, but they're going to catch them back again. Not going to fully leave. People are going to get back engaged. March with Hillary Green's going to be Hitler, right? They're going to find some new enemies for you.
If Trump having 2 scoops of ice cream is news, then Joe Biden falling up the stairs is news.
Dude, they went to his golf course and basically hid in the fucking bushes and filmed him golfing. That's just how thirsty they are for Trump. Go ahead, Trip. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just to say that's just a pretty good indication of how far we've degenerated as a society. That, like, I don't want to blame technology because we're the ones consuming it. Like, yeah, I thought it was funny, Joe Biden falling up the stairs, but at the same time, like, I don't really fucking care. But everybody, like, tells us we should care because there is the double standard, and it's hard not to see the double standard. But once you point that double standard out, this is one thing conservatives, I think, really need to fucking figure out. But, let's point out the double standard. Like, well, why is it okay when you do it, but not okay when I do it? Like, that's how it's going to be. I remember, Tree, you said something to me like a year and a half ago, and you were like, Trip, you don't get it. They just lie. They lie. And I was like, fuck, like, that's
Trip.
Big deal.
But hold on. No, wait. I want to respond to Trip. Go finish, Trip. Finish what you're saying, Trip, and we'll respond to that.
So basically, like, they just lie, and there is a double standard. But what are conservatives going to do about that double standard? Because obviously, Grimace and I are 2 different types of liberals. There are many different types of liberals, right? And we obviously get our news from different places and believe different things. Because there were a few things that Grimace hadn't even heard of that we were talking about today. But and for example. Not for example, but the right-wingers will listen to left and right-wing news sources. I'm in the middle trying to do the same thing because I want a big picture of everything. But I feel like most liberals don't do that. But what are conservatives going to do about that? Because liberals and leftists are being lied to.
Let me brings up a good point.
Let me respond. Wait. Stop. Let me respond. It's my turn. Listen. You guys are fooling. You guys are fooling yourself if you don't think him falling up the stairs not once, not twice, but 3 times is not going to make an effect on 2022. I want y'all to fucking mark my words. Clip this video. Right, nobody wants a fucking weak leader. Goddamn Putin fucking goddamn called Joe Biden's bluff. The whole fucking world does not take us seriously. And you think the motherfuckers are gonna be like, man, we are not gonna fucking goddamn. You can say what you want to fucking say about Trump, but he had some fucking balls to say, fuck you, nigga. You ain't doing shit to my country. You ain't doing this. You ain't.
If I can respond to Chip's point.
Are you? Go ahead, BJ. Go ahead, BJ.
Okay. So it's a Trip brings up something really important, right? Grimace, we'll go to your answers. I just want to make a quick point that people on the right have become kind of lame, and there's nothing wrong with it. But what we do now is we go like the whole Joe Biden falling down thing. I don't care. He's old, and old people fall down sometimes. I care about the mental stuff for him more. But the reason why we go look at this shit is because we say if this had happened to Trump, you'd be all over it. So everything comes back to this double standard. When the left treats Trump as such a
standard, though.
No, it is.
Yes, it is double standard.
There's an article.
It is a double standard. Trump was like holding onto a railing, and they were losing their mind about Trump holding onto a railing when it was windy and icy, and then he falls up the stairs 3 times and like, oh, but it was the wind. But my point is,
let's break it down. Wait.
But if you want to do that, I'm sure you can find conservative outlets who we're giving excuses for Trump, like walking down the.
Hold on. Grimace. Trump. Hold on. Grimace. Trump was. Hold on. Jupiter. Hold on a second. Grimace. Trump was walking down a ramp. He was walking down a ramp very slowly and he held onto a rail. Okay. So you're saying that's equivalent to Biden falling up, not down, up the fucking up. He was falling up the fucking stairs 3 times.
You can only fall down.
No. Answer the question. You always do this.
I'm not.
You always do this.
That's besides the point, Grimace.
Is it not concerning? I hate to tell you this, but
answer the question.
I wasn't concerned. Excuse me. I wasn't concerned that like Trump couldn't walk down.
That's not.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. I need you to be specific. Are you saying that Trump
the same?
Walking? Hold on. Yes. Are they the same?
Oh sure. Like are they the same? Like showing like older men struggling.
Is Trump? No. Come on. You always do this, Grimace. Oh my God, Grimace.
Are you talking about the response?
No. I'm asking you personally. No. Hold on. Y'all be quiet. Grimace, I want to see how bad your TDS is. I got faith in you. I know you can be honest, okay? Trump. Hold on.
Don't say anything bad about
him. Hold on. Trump, listen to me. You remember that scene where Trump was moseying down and he almost tripped down going down a ramp? Not stairs, ramp. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I am asking you, is that the same? Because everybody lost their shit. Are you saying that what Trump did coming down a ramp is the same as Biden tripping up some fucking stairs 3 times? Are you saying it's the same?
Yeah, they're older men who have issues that they have to deal with. Look how much information you guys have.
This is proof that there are multiple different types of liberals. This is proof because we obviously.
Sorry, can I say something?
Tree, you have it. Like, what's the double standard?
The media will cover it differently.
Go ahead, Jupiter, and then Cat.
Are you telling me there isn't media that you guys are
of course it's the same.
that are attacking? Like, I just listen to you guys. You just make fun of Biden all the time. You tell me there's no media sources out there I can't go look up. Wait. Biden's failing mental health.
You are so disingenuous, though, Grimace. But go ahead, Jupiter. Go ahead, Jupiter, and then Cat.
You're right in this case, right?
No, you're not. No, you're not right. You're not right because
hold on. There were 14 major publications in this country alone that talked about President Trump holding a glass of water with 2 hands. President Biden,
that's kind of funny.
Elected, fell up the stairs and then tried to catch his fucking fall, fell again, and then totally fucking face planted a third time.
How's that?
Wait, hold on, I'm not done. No. I'm not done.
Let him finish.
The difference is everything Trump did, he was treated like a piece of shit, a retarded old dotard, you know, all this stuff. The American delegation that went to China under President Biden got anal swabbed for COVID. Anal swab. And China's like, oh, my bad.
We didn't have to do that.
And then, if it was President Trump, they'd be in D.C. But Biden agreed that they'd go to Anchorage, Alaska for their delegation. And instead of having a decent discussion, China, Uyghur concentration camps lectured us on racism, on human rights abuses. Fuck you. And they
and
just
Putin's doing the same thing.
Sorry, I can't find anything on China doing that to our
I'm about to be done
delegation.
with my little diatribe. They told us we were pieces of shit, that we were racist, that we were fucking human rights abusers.
Yeah, and we stood up to them.
No, we didn't.
No.
Wait, did you listen to
hold
it?
on, Grimace.
I have a feeling you haven't actually listened to that entire interaction.
Under President Trump, if you think that Xi Jinping would have fucking had the dick or testicles to say that shit, and they were only allotted 2 minutes for their opening statement, they took 15 to tell us we were pieces of shit, and we took it because we're pussy now. Because our
No, because we don't
I
care.
kinda
pirate.
Because we're not reactive, like emotional.
We've gotten off the point. We've
divas
gotten off the
up there,
point.
right?
Bear Jew was going to say something because I said, what are conservatives going to do about this double standard, right?
Nothing.
And you were going to say something.
By the way, that was a lie about the delegation.
I don't know what we're going to do about it,
how
but the double standard is a really good red pilling moment. So conservatives
Yes.
love using it. Go, hey,
It's red pilling motherfuckers like crazy.
Covered on the other side, right? And so once the liberals go and they see a little bit of the double standard, they go, oh, that's weird. And they start to think, are they being lied to all the time? And that's the red pilling process. So we've been using it to our advantage, but it sucks that we have to keep on talking about it because I don't want to have to bring up Biden falling down the stairs.
You're suffering every time.
So
Every time there's a
many
double standard,
people.
the right suffers.
No, we
I
don't.
recant that, by the
No, we
way.
don't. No, we don't.
It
Let me
did
hold on.
happen.
Hold on. Let me address it. I'm addressing it as a right winger.
The
Listen,
mainstream.
I fucking talk so I laugh so much at my liberal. I don't have liberal friends, liberal acquaintances in real life. And you know what? Two of the 5 said, you know what? I can't defend him anymore. I try to give him a chance. And he just, we messed up. Cause see, here's the deal. What we do now is we are acting. Well, I don't know if the guys here are acting like that, but now I have taken notes from the left of how fucking crazy they act doing Trump, and now I'm doing it. I'm calling Joe Biden a fascist. I'm calling him a racist, which he is, because he said my black ass don't know how to use the goddamn internet, so he is racist. So it's like I constantly talk shit about Biden, and it turns middle, not right wingers, but it turns fence-sitting centrists off.
So that was a liberal statement he probably made about the technology divide that we see in our country, right? Like white upper and middle class kids have more access to the internet because their parents have more money.
He said,
Everybody
black,
has
what was his
access.
exact?
Yeah, I don't believe
Library.
that at all. Yeah,
Everybody,
everyone has some sort of access to
What was his?
Anything they
Hey,
Divide. You
hold
could
on.
go to the library.
Grimace, what was his exact words?
Right?
Hold on.
We have to understand these differences.
No. Give me his exact quote, Grimace. What was
give me that
Biden's
shit.
exact quote?
That doesn't mean every homeless person has.
No,
What
what
was
I'm
his-
saying is you have the opportunity to go find these things out. It has to do with how you're raised and how smart you are, from the beginning, how much you're going to actually learn. Don't give me we didn't have the internet, we couldn't learn. Yes, you did have the internet.
You were liberal. I thought you recognize differences in opportunity.
That's exactly what I'm saying. There are differences in opportunities, but one of those things is not a difference. The internet is for everyone. You can go to the library and just get that shit for free.
Not everybody has equal access.
You
Almost
can't walk
everyone
to the
has a
fucking library?
smartphone.
Indiana Jones, answer me this. You can't walk to the fucking library?
He said Indiana Jones!
Are we serious? Do you understand? You're understanding that you're putting a roadblock in front of some people.
No, I'm
and
saying
it's
it's
the
not a
It's not a
roadblock. I'm saying
roadblock.
they have the opportunity and they're pretending that they don't. And that's what Joe Biden said. He's like, oh, they don't have as much, and they
He's
need
such
our
a
help.
racist piece of shit. Joe Biden is a racist motherfucker, dude. I'm telling you.
Joe Biden's hella racist.
He is very racist.
This is the whole entire. Guys, let me make one point. This whole entire thing is
walk to the
skewed because
library. Why do they choose to get it from their mom and their pet?
this is the important point. This is how messed up our conversation is, right? Because the media tells us what bosses are thinking, we don't think of the actual problem. Who has a lack of internet, of access to internet? It's actually white people in extremely rural areas who can have to get satellite internet and shit like that, and who can't do Zoom calls. No one talks about them. There's a large part of them in society. It's all about the framework of the inner city, because where the journalists come from, the city, right? Everything's always about the cities that we live in, not about the rest of the whole entire country. So if you want to talk about lack of internet access, you talk about the rural Americans, because they're the ones actually lacking it.
It's
Honestly,
though, that's getting good though, man. I gotta push back on that a little bit. It's getting good though.
Okay.
Wait, we're talking about framing Big Bad Bear Jew. So if you're talking about issues in the black community, why would you bring up people in the rural states? Like if you're talking, there's an issue in the fact that black communities don't have the same kind of access and education.
Internet access
you never bring
just takes a while to get it.
Okay, but they do have access to it. That's the whole entire thing we're talking about here.
I'll donate.
It's the whole entire thing.
If Grimace says "milady" in that hat, I will literally give him.
This is an Outback Rancher hat. This isn't a fedora. What are you talking about?
All right, sorry, Crocodile fucking Dundee then.
Okay,
hold on. BJ and then Cats, and then Grimace can follow up. Go ahead, BJ, then Cats, and then Grimace.
I apologize. I was just.
That's okay.
I was rude.
Yeah. I was gonna say I thought I was kind of expanding the issue a bit, but if you want to talk about blacks, it's always the same arguments that black people don't know how to get IDs.
Yeah, we so stupid. We so poor. We so this. We so downtrodden. They don't have access to internet, and so Democrats use the dumb black person stereotype in order to push their agenda. It's like black people can't do this. That's racist, right? It's racist just because what about black people? And it's like, blacks hate that.
They're racist only makes sense if you assume that there's a bunch of black people who have no idea how to function in society.
Okay, so it's racist because the Republican Party uses tactics to target black neighborhoods, so they know that these people won't vote for, won't turn up to vote if they put enough roadblocks.
You
understand?
You're talking about 40 years ago, man.
Y'all don't let Grimace deflect. That was a deflection. That has nothing to do on how racist as Joe Biden said it. I, as a black person, can't use the internet. That was a deflection. Y'all fell for it. Go ahead, Cats.
Well, Tree, when you're older, you'll be able to use the ID system.
I'm gonna direct part of this question to you, Tree, because I know as a white gay man, I don't know as much about the black community as you do. How many black children, teenagers, women, men will tolerate not having a smartphone that can access the internet?
I don't know any that don't have, and as a matter of fact, because remember, even during the time of Obama, if black people, which was not an issue, could not afford phones, they gave them Obama phones. So black people don't have no problems having phones. I mean, it's so. And listen, and let me just say this, just in case those of you who didn't know, when Biden said that shit, all of black Twitter lost their minds. They were so pissed at Biden for saying some fuck shit like that. It's like when it comes to these Democrats, it's like when it comes to blacks, we all downtrodden and poor and dumb as fuck because we can't do nothing without masks.
Democratic policies are that's what all Democratic policies are. When they want to rile the base up, they get it's all about racism. Like black people don't get IDs, they can't fend for themselves. They need assistance in every way possible. That is a Democratic platform in order to engender blacks towards them. But
so when we're talking about the digital divide, we're not talking about like using the cell phone. We're talking about people's education when it comes to the internet and how things work and their ability to learn and use the internet to its like fullest capacity, which you can't get from a cheap ass smartphone. Like you have to get that from a PC, and hopefully like PCs with even like better stats that are pretty expensive. And then you need the internet, like you said before, that rural people face. Like
Grimace,
actually
black
connect.
people have no
Connect to
problem
the
getting the
internet.
internet. I promise you. I promise you, black people do not have a problem getting the
Yeah,
internet.
they live in the cities. There's Wi-Fi all over the
Libraries
place,
have
and there's
internet.
probably good ability. But like
Libraries have
when
internet,
we're
so
talking
you get
about the
free
digital
Wi-Fi.
divide, we're talking about using the internet, right? We're talking
That's-
about like
I'll say it's a
learning
poor- it's
and
a
growing
poor
and
issue,
understanding
but
computers.
yeah.
Okay,
and getting
listen.
prepared to enter
I
a STEM
wanna,
field.
I wanna wrap this up, guys. I forgot I was having so much fun with you guys. I didn't realize the time. So let's go ahead and do our closing with everybody. This was fun, guys. So let's start off with hold on. I was on. Oh, here we go. Let's start off with Jupiter. Jupiter, give your closing and everything that we talked about, and then shout out all of your links where people can check you out at. So, and I want everybody to do that. So go ahead and start off with Jupiter.
All right. I am Jupiter, obviously. I do a podcast called Kagit. I am the K in Kagit. Cats is the agate. He is the agate. With, it's not really fair that he gets most of the letters. I believe he gets 5. I get 1. That's fine. I mean, I'm not one to complain.
We already said that Fike doesn't work.
Well, we were going to change it to Fike, but I was vetoed. But anyway, we have a podcast, and I just wanted to say everything Grimace says is wrong, and everything I say is right, and that I am aspiring to be the type of conservative that Archer would feel proud to be. And I love the chat. I love the taters. Thank you guys for having me. Honestly, it's all fun and games, but everyone here is a pretty decent human being, and I like it.
Yeah. All right. BJ, next, your turn.
Are we doing closing remarks and signing off?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing?
Yeah.
So we talked about so many different things. What was the topic?
Everything we
both
talked about.
Republicans and Democrats are a problem for for illegal immigration. The minimum wage should not be applied nationally, and I don't think it should be applied at all. Proud Boys rule. What else did we talk about? I guess I'm done with that. If you want to find me, you can find me on Big Bad Bears, your YouTube, Instagram, or OnlyFans. Just started one recently, but trying to make some side money. Thank you guys very much.
Even OnlyFans?
I'm already.
Hey, are you memeing
Yeah,
right now?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
hold on.
Okay.
Are you memeing? Because
took his
I
shirt
swear
off
to God,
earlier. We know he's on OnlyFans.
somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody was like, "Big Bad Bears, you should start an OnlyFans." I was so paid for it. I was like, he would never do that. And so.
Oh, they got.
And then he took his shirt off.
BJ,
Advertising. See, I'm trying to.
You're gonna make that. You're gonna make her so happy. Go ahead. All
Should I
right.
do it?
Sorry. Rafiq, go ahead.
take it off, Rafiq.
No, I'm just shocked that Big Bad Jew is now gay for pay.
And I
Girls
will
subscribe
say,
too, you know.
And the wife approves?
He'll make a lot of money. Of
wants
course, she's
shoes.
gonna approve. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Rafiq. We are taking over your time. Go ahead, Rafiq. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm on Twittergram Twittergram. Damn, I think I made up a word. I am on Twitter and Instagram at rjennings333. When I was too broke to get a computer, I went to the library. When I had bad credit as a typical black person, Metro PCS, I was able to get my phone without Obama's help.
Yes.
And and all that. So I mean, the opportunity is there for those who want it. Period.
All
You have
right.
a library card.
Yes. A nice white
can
lady had to
read?
help me fill out one. Yes.
Yeah,
A nice white
wait.
lady.
Wait a
taught me
minute.
how to-
Hold on.
wait, Rafiq has access to the internet?
All right, Trip. Go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah, my thing is, Jennings, I'm just kidding. My thing is, like, there are many different types of liberals, and I think this and all of our conversations illustrates that pretty clearly. And there are many different types of conservatives, which I would love to have this conversation with Archer too, because he and I were like along party lines. He used to call me a progressive back when I was one, and I've changed my mind about a few things, and also the parties have changed and kind of like shifted while I've stayed the same. And that happens simultaneously all the time. So the Overton window, it expands and contracts like an accordion, but it also moves a little bit. And I think we've gone far to the left. But because of social issues, that's what people are focusing on the most. It's the most accessible thing to people these days, especially in their day-to-day conversations. So they don't have the time to talk about politics like we do. As far as immigration goes, I think accept all the immigrants that we can, all of them, but deny all the illegal immigrants that are coming, all of them. Sorry. I think maybe some exceptions should be made for people who are legitimately fleeing like strife. Like I said, I witnessed cartel wars. It's not a pretty thing. Like we had to stay in our hotel room and just lock ourselves in. So some countries don't have it as good as us, and I recognize that, and that's why I still consider myself a liberal. There needs to be some sort of caveat to immigration. There needs to be some sort of, I don't want to say loophole, but we should be more compassionate to people who are coming from these places, but shopping around like Bear Juice said, and getting to pick where you go and passing through 5 countries that are completely safe before you get here is a whole nother story.
All right.
Oh, follow me, Trip Sucks or Trip Sucks Bro on everything.
Okay, Felix.
Regulation.
Oh, I was keeping notes of everything,
All right.
and at the bottom of it, I put society sucks. We should really consider just launching ourselves to the moon to start over.
Okay.
That's the takeaway I've got.
Nice black pill.
I want the
so black pill here.
aliens. I'm like, aliens, please come. I want to see the aliens, because at least if we have the aliens to fight against, we can unite against something. But
that's black pill Gen Z for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You should get some sleep. I think you'll feel better after you've slept for a day or two. I promise.
I'll feel better after I've had
Bear
some
Juice,
sleep and after I've had a little to drink. First of all, but there were some points that were good that should be made, but a lot of this is really just like people. It seems like people really like the discussion we're trying to have. It's not really gonna like go anywhere because people are too like they want to make that hot take that you could post on conservatives posting their own L's rather than actually having a debate. So we just, as a society, in quotes, have to get rid of that, but that's not gonna happen. Let's be honest. But my Instagram is @Falix1, and thank you for having me, and it's been fun.
All right. Thank you for coming. And Grimace, your turn.
Oh yeah, sure. I just want to talk about the whole black versus white opportunity and like the problem with roadblocks that we face. Like when we like think of this analogy, this is how I like to think about these analogies. If we look at society and we actually look at like say white children and black children and like Asian children, and just say that to be successful in life, we all have to take a test, right? It's pretty equal, right? And the only thing on this test that we have to do is we can't get any more than 2 questions incorrect. And anything, if you get 3 questions wrong, you failed at life. Okay. And the way we think is everybody's giving their test, but lo and behold, like all the white kids and the Asian kids and all the people who come from like middle class family, they only have 10 questions on their test. But if we're talking about black kids in this case, they have like 100 questions. Like for one, like, hey, do you have that knowledge of computers and typing and knowing about Microsoft Excel and knowing how to use the internet properly? Like, do you have somebody in your life, for instance, who was like, for instance, my children are going to know a lot about the internet and developing and things like that, and are going to prepare.
Income versus race, though.
It's both. Income. It's both. Okay, it's both. But
what are the
sure.
issues that black people face about?
Yeah. Okay. This is my closing argument. But so you know, like black people are disproportionately poor. Okay. So that's all I want to say about that. And when I think of equality opportunity, this is what I'm talking about. Like these are, I want everybody to have 10 questions. That's all I want. Okay. And I think the government is equipped to do it, or at least mitigate it to some way. As far as who said something about genocide? Big Bad Bear, was that you who said? You can just say like yes or no. Did you say genocide?
Gen Z. Gen Z. He said that Gen Z is black pill.
I think
Gen Z.
I think Jupiter was talking about the Uyghurs at one point.
No. BJ was responding to Falix and said Falix was the typical Gen Z black pilled.
Yeah, but earlier I was saying, yeah, and I stand by it. That China.
Okay. Sorry, no. I was just I want to go on your podcast. If you guys will have me, we can talk about a topic. I'll prepare for it. I also wanted to talk about conservatives. I had a big presentation on conservatives.
Blame Archer. Blame Archer. I hope he's okay. I mean,
I'm excited for that topic to come back.
I hope he can come in next month.
Yeah. Tree, thanks for letting me on your program and letting me have a voice to talk to everybody here. I had like a really
being conservative. That's why I became a progressive.
Sure. So,
not you. I was talking about Archer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let him give out his links.
Of your community who have like, so the members of your community who have been pretty outgoing when it comes to talking to me, like appearing even on my shows, engaging with me in chat, or just like shit talking me, like showing up to chat to shit talk, or even when they leave comments, like I read them and I appreciate them and I think about them. And you can follow me at twitter.com/outgrimace. I find myself just arguing with communists and socialists these days. You can just look at the timeline, and I felt like I haven't talked to conservatives in such a long time. So I'm glad I have this outlet again. And if you guys come, you can argue with me there, and I can like maybe give some pushback there. And also on twitch.tv/outgrimace. I'm starting to stream more. I've been working my career more like post the election, but I don't think I want to give it up completely because like I just found out about Biden falling today, guys. Like before this.
Today you just found out about that?
This roundtable. Yeah, just today. Yeah. So I'm like, I probably don't need to be that disengaged. It's just like there's a big like weight off my shoulders after the election, after Mike Pence did the right thing. So hold on. Yeah, thanks again for having me.
I guess don't worry. You, Trip, and all the rest of you guys over there, in the political left Twitch, y'all gonna be off the chain come 2022. Okay.
Yo, Grimace.
I sense a change in the zeitgeist. There's a lot more pushback that liberals couldn't do before because they were concerned about getting Trump out of office. But that's not the case anymore. There's a lot of.
Hopefully you're right. Really bad.
Grimace, I need to ask.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on, because we're gonna get Cats because BJ has to go, and we're gonna get Cats, and then if anybody want to still stay and talk with Grimace, we can. So Cats, go ahead and give yours out, and then we'll let BJ go, and then the rest of you guys can ask Grimace a question. Go ahead, go ahead, Cats.
Yeah. So yes, I am r_cat_skate. I do a podcast with Jupiter fairly regularly. If I had to say anything that I want people to know is that I used to be a leftist. Well, I thought I was a leftist. I was a liberal because I live in California. The sooner liberals, not progressive leftists, understand that the progressives ate their part of the party and that they will never get the Democratic, they will never get their spot back in the Democratic club back, and just acknowledge the fact that they either need to come over here or go somewhere else, the healthier they will be, because the progressives hate everyone. I think they hate liberals more than they hate conservatives, actually. So, it's okay. It was hard for me. You can do it too. But the Republican Party is a dysfunctional mess, but the conservative movement is much more accepting than people think it is. If there's a home for me, there's a home for you. Follow me on Twitter. Follow my YouTube channel, which, I occasionally post a video, like at least once with the lunar eclipse. But more often than not, Jupiter and I will have a podcast, and that's where you'll find us.
All right. So you guys, thank you so much. BJ, I know you got to go. So we'll see you next month. Remember, we're going to start at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you so much for coming by, everybody. You had a question for Grimace. I
was wondering, the Grimace, is it AU like gold? Like, is that what it is?
Yeah, it is for gold.
I thought it was like Agrutan.
There's a sci-fi series called Red Rising by Pierce Brown. It's kind of like
I love it. It's my favorite. Golden Sun. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you know it. Well, fuck yeah. That's my favorite series too.
Got me through jail, baby.
Oh, so did you understand? I meant Al Grimace as like the house of Aja Al Grimace. I know it's not spelled like
nerdy. I didn't want that kind of explanation.
Yeah. I got it. Jesus Christ. Read it 100 times.
'Cause
'Cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause 'cause
Wait, say that last part again.
I've asked Cats to read that 100.
Oh yeah, I tell everybody. Nobody reads it because
called?
nobody wants to read.
It's
Hey, are we off? Are we off the air? Or are we on the air?
Yeah,
it's
we're
Pierce
still on the
Brown,
air.
Red
We're
Rise
still on the
and
air.
Yeah, can you put it on?
All right, we're gonna get nerd. We don't want to dominate you with nerdy.
Oh, y'all not.
Oh, we're nerds.
Wait a minute, you guys. Wait a minute, you guys wanna? If you guys wanna have the whereby, I can
Yeah, I
just leave.
want to hear about this after. But hey, Tree, thank you so much. This was fun.
All right,
You,
y'all.
you are
y'all-
my therapist. You know that, right?
Am I really?
Well, I fired my last one.
All right, but guys, thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys, and hopefully Archer is okay because I really want to have this conversation in reference.
He's not
to...
answering my call. I hope he's good.
Yeah,
I've
he's.
been
I hope
calling
he's
him
all right.
all night.
Yeah.
He was really off the last time. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, he was sick. But
Is
I
that
think
what it was?
He and I,
I
were
thought he
supposed
was
to do a
on
podcast
Yeah, last
earlier
month he
today,
was
and
sick.
He didn't answer.
yeah.
I thought he was on drugs.
Yeah.
He was acting
Well, he
crazy.
could be.
No,
Well, I
no,
don't
he's not. He hits the vape pen too much. That's about it.
Apparently.
Well, who doesn't? Who
All
among
right, you guys can have the whereby. I will talk to you all next month. Well,
Love
some of
you,
y'all
Chris.
I'll talk to y'all
Bye.
before then. Bye.
Bye.
All right, hold on. Don't say nothing yet because I gotta leave the Discord. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Hey guys. All righty. Okay. I hope Grimace is okay. Not Grimace. Did I say Grimace? I hope Archer is okay. I don't want nothing to happen to Archer. So, hi Killer Chaos. Hi Sights. You that was fun. Yo Tree, thought I'd update you with Kurt T. Deegan. Oh my God. Hold on a second. Somebody's giving me some good juicy stuff. Hold on a second. Let me okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Yo, Tree, thought I'd give you update. The Kurt TD guy was fired from being a creep harasser, and the person they thought they bought in place to replace him is a dude that calls himself Barbara. I'm warning the conservative streamers about him. Well, first of all, I don't deal with anybody. See, here's the deal. See, I'm not like the conservative. That's why I put myself in the right winger position. I'm not banned from Twitch. I don't know why people think I'm banned from Twitch. I'm not. I left Twitch. I'll be back, but in a non-political way. But I never allowed Kurt to do shit for me. One, I don't trust him. Two, I don't need him. And three, the motherfucker came to me as if he was my daddy, as if he was my massa or some shit like that. He's a very arrogant motherfucker. A lot of people are lazy. A lot of people are lazy. They need... I thought it was crazy for anybody to have a manager to contact another streamer in reference to getting on a political panel or having a one-on-one debate. The most dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. I'm like, I don't need nobody. Everybody and listen, I've gotten people from Richard Spencer to Jesse Lee Peterson to I forgot the lesbian. She's one of my favorites. I'd get anybody I fucking want. Everybody I have asked to come on my show to talk, they said yes. I've never had anybody say no. So I don't understand unless they have low self-esteem, which is more common on the left than the right. I don't see what the problem. Why the fuck do you need a manager or whatever? So y'all don't have to warn me about anybody that works for these managers, whatever. These people are crazy and they can't come to me. And now the people who call themselves conservative on Twitch, they are thirsty. They're not really good with networking, whatever. So they cater to the left too much because they fear the left. And as you notice, I was one of the few, if not the only one, who would buck up against these motherfuckers and be like, fuck you, motherfucker, you racist pieces. I would come at them. And you know, I was like, the first suspension was totally my fault. The second suspension was not my fault. And if I get another one, I think I got up until the end of April. Because if I get 3 within 6 months, then that's it. I'm gone. So I decided like to not stream on Twitch. Well, I'm not gonna come back as a political person anyway. But I'm not coming back as a Tree of Logic. I'm coming back as a non-political streamer. But that's when I realized, like, okay, I need to rethink some things first. So there's nobody from that platform that can come on something. Hey, Tree, why don't you come over and be on that? Them motherfuckers, for one, don't have access to me. 2, if they did have access to me, I would straight up delete their shit. I wouldn't even respond. These people cannot talk to me. I am exclusive. Let me just say this. It is a privilege to have me as a friend on your Discord list. It's a fucking privilege to have immediate access to me. These people that's a new manager, whoever the fuck this person is, they can't touch me. There you go, Ariel Scarella. I could never say her name, Lion Blues. I could never. That's Ariel. Yeah. Ariel, I've been wanting these streamers, some of them listening to me. Yeah, I mean, these streamers are lazy. I don't understand why the fuck, especially if you have a popular table. To me, if anything, by the way, this is not going to happen. But let's say, for instance, if any lefty, first of all, the panel people like Prime has an abundance of lefty people. I have an abundance of right-wingers. If anything, he and I could like exchange people. But here's the problem. These people will never leave Twitch to come on YouTube because they want to stay in their safe space where they can be protected by the Twitch terms of service. See, we can say shit on here and nothing can happen, you know what I'm saying? But not for Twitch. So that's why when Joe came, and then of course Grim and Constantly come, and Trip, that takes some balls to come on YouTube where you know you're not protected from mean words or hate speech, shit like that. Okay. But it's a dude who demands you call him a woman. I mean, isn't that common on Twitch? Isn't that common on Twitch? Some shit different, pal, basically. Same shit. Oh, so same shit, different, pal. Okay. Yeah, Ariel, she was so great. So I don't have problems. I don't have problems getting anybody on my platform. I don't need it. And I'm not coming back politically. I'm coming back as a non-political channel. It's just that I just been so fucking busy in IRL. It's just that I just don't have the time for it. What was I about to say? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and log off. Let me see. Did anybody? I thought I saw a donation. I want to make sure I thank those people with donations. Hold on. Oh, am I yawning? Am I yawning? Ha 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 ha. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, TJ Milana. Whatever happened to just individual responsibility when it comes to creating change? Change begins with us looking in the mirror and confronting hard truth about who we are. Woof. I totally agree. The left does not want us to have individual responsibilities. And why do you think they're calling Asian the hate crime by Asians, which is 90% committed by blacks, white supremacy? I personally hate labels. That's a $5 donation. Same person, TJ Milana. I personally hate labels. It's better to be agnostic when it comes to politics. Conservatives, progressive, libertarians may start off great, but overcome it over time it becomes co-opted every time. I used to be I still have I will always vote Republican. I would never vote Democrat. But I have now, my voter registration is now independent. And that's the reason why I call myself a right winger. And I think labels are important because when people see me, they assume that I'm some fucking Black Lives Matter supporter who's also a Democrat. So I have no problem. And a lot of times they don't even believe me. I tell people, I'm like, hey, I love the police. And I had to do shit like this and like this so that people know, hey, don't judge a book by their color. They see my hair, they see my face, they see my skin. They automatically put me in the box. Then I have to constantly tell them I'm not in that box. See the flag? See the cup? Okay, guess what? I'm a right winger. I don't deal with this shit. And Cats gave $10. Thank you so much, Cats. Please support this debate. These are important. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But Tree, your hair isn't dyed. I know. Tell me about it. They still think I'm a fucking liberal. Oh, I'm never going. No. No. See, let me tell you something, John Doe. These motherfucking commies on Twitch who always talk about capitalism, these are the most back-talking, hypocritical motherfuckers in the world. See, I am a person who will not give Bezos any money. See, Tree of Logic is not monetized. Tree of Logic, I qualify to apply for the partnership for Twitch on Tree of Logic. I'm not even an affiliate. You're not going to give money to that motherfucker through me. I have never, ever, coming back to Tree of Logic, when I came back in the fall of 2019, I made sure that I got rid of my affiliate program. I was like, y'all not going to pay this motherfucker no money. And when I come back as Just Tree 411, yeah, it's not going to be an affiliate. You will give money directly to me, not Jeff Bezos. You're going to give money directly to me. You're going to give money directly to me through my Streamlabs. So I'm not doing that whole sub and gift subs and stuff like that. Nah, I want that because from my understanding, Twitch takes half your money. They take half your money. Half. If you're an affiliate. Okay. I'm like, motherfucker, what? And then I don't even know, you don't get any money for your fucking goddamn commercial, like ad revenue. You don't get no money if you're an affiliate. Twitch has the worst payout for any streamer on this platform, in the internet. They have the worst. Baby, I'm making money on Minds.com just posting shit that I normally would post on Facebook. And I don't even have to worry about getting banned. I am growing so big on these so-called isolated platforms. That's what I'm saying. I'm making passive income on there. Passive income on Minds.com. Minds.com. So, nah, once I get my, like right now, I'm it's so much on my plate. I gotta check to see if my video editor uploaded the video for my third channel. I mean, just a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, guys, those Twitch commies can't handle a debate with YouTubers. Yeah, because they're scared, Jacob. They're scared. They get in their little echo and it's so laughable. They get in their little echo chamber and they tell each other all these lies. There's nobody to fact check them. And they sit up here and believe the bullshit. Then when they come out of the echo chamber, which they don't, and they talk to somebody like me or whatever who does this for a living, then they realize, ooh, I didn't know that. Ooh, I didn't know that. Blah, blah, blah. Like, seriously, I clown every time I go to the gym and I see my liberal acquaintances. They get so tired of me clowning them about Joe Biden. And was it today? Yesterday they had enough. Yesterday they was like, we're not going to do this anymore. This man is, I regret voting for Joe Biden. So many people are saying they regret voting for Joe Biden. All right, guys, I can see I'm having problems talking, so I'm going to go ahead and log off. And listen, I'm back. I will be here on tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? 6 o'clock p.m. So see me here tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and I'll see you then. Thank you guys so much for the donations, and I also appreciate you guys for coming by. I'll see you on my regular scheduled time tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Later, taters. Bye. Bye.